also at the same time, if we actually, you know, overall, I think complexity should be too strong from Imperial. That Imperial are here was kind of a surprise. They didn't think they were even going to be here. Long straight away. Try gets a good entry. And we'll get into our feelings, of course, about Imperial a little bit more as the game goes on. And if Try keeps hitting shots like that, then definitely it'll only be good things we have to say. Descenti will do great work against Floppy too. Suddenly it's a 5v2. And Elysian and hallzerk have kind of nowhere to go.
All right. Well, this is looking pretty scrappy already. I mean, hallzerk gets his, sure. What do we do in this situation? Gonna move in towards CT and Elise. She gets tagged down low. This feels non-existent. Try. It feels like man more or less single-handedly giving them this round. That opening double in towards long, gave him so much space. He tries to lurk to catch hallzerk, and it's not to be. So 2 versus 3, but will Phelps get cleared? Oh, he does maybe go a little early. hallzerk will punish. Surely, but not over fighting. How have Imperial lost that round? How in God's name have they lost it? That's a 2 versus 4. That complexity had no right in winning, but credit, absolute credit to hallzerk and Elise. I think even they're thinking, how have we got away with that?
I think it was even a 2 versus 5 much earlier in the round, right? I mean, that I can't believe that. Like, they overfight really badly in certain situations. Here's a replay of kind of how it went down with, you know, Try getting those kills toward long. And then he just, I don't think there's a reason to push through that CT smoke and give up your life like that. And then they try and peek together in a way just to pinch the CT player and the car player. And it just completely falls apart. hallzerk with 4. That means he can get an AWP out in round 2. Like, he's against the pistols. It's always a bit risky, but yeah, that is a confusing one for Imperial. And I do worry about their kind of state in this particular tournament and in this series, because, you know, even regionally, where you'd expect them to be one of the top 3, maybe alongside Pain and Red Canids, they've been struggling a bit lately. This is just the Deagle bias. I'll talk over it quickly. Some of their recent results. On Vertigo, of course, which is our map 2, that is the main problem child of their map pool. They had only won 1 in 7, and they've lost to Pain regionally in the Cologne play-ins, which is a regional matchup, obviously. Yeah. They lost to Pain again a few months ago in one of those Blast qualifiers, and they even in the CBCS event, which of course has got much lower ranked Brazilian teams, they lost to both Red Canids and Sharks. Sure, Red Canids are pretty sick, and, you know, that's some great revenge for Henny, respect to him, but I can't believe that, you know, they've been losing to those teams at that level.
Yeah, it goes without saying, Imperial, it definitely feels like they're in a very tough spot, you know, working, trying towards this team, definitely trying to reclaim some of the favor of old, but it just has not been working out for them. They've definitely been dwindling and struggling, and I think with that, this is where complexity have a prime example, or prime opportunity, may I say, actually, to come in towards a series like this and just lay down the law. While they've definitely had their problems themselves, and their worries, and their issues in international Counter-Strike, and a team of Imperial stature currently, they should be seen as clear favorites here, and so far,
yeah,
we're playing like it. This first full buy for Imperial is pretty important. Try will get out the AWP as well to try and counter that hallzerk. 6-0 for him to start off as well.
Yeah, and the thing for Try is, right, like, I've always liked Try. I think he's a quality player. I've liked him since I think when he first had a chance on 0-0 Nation was when it really came to prominence in my eyes, even though he was on 9Z, of course, before that. That was where he kind of popped up in the minds of many, but obviously had that stint on 0-0 Nation and then was kind of around and about ever since that. I do wonder why the decision was made to drop Henny, what exactly the reason was behind it. Yeah. There have been some articles that have popped up with interviews of the players. I feel like we haven't really had one proper definitive answer, because Henny's doing such great work on Red Canids now. Recently, as I said, winning that CBCS event. I feel like it's a debuff for Imperial in a way.
Agreed. It really feels like they've let a good one slip, you know what I mean? And well, obviously, it's been showing. Red Canids have become a super scary tide domestically. Grim doesn't get cleared, and Pinata gets it. But jumping on the spot is definitely not what we on trying to make something work for him. He might lose to the pistol. It's one of the fights of all time right now, actually, in all fairness. No Way is also tagged. I mean, this round feels like it's basically decided on whether Descenti can get active. Try, good for one, does get traded. No Way still low. Both players now known as well. Descenti tries to catch JT off guard, and it's not to be. All down to No Way. He ain't got time, and he ain't got the bomb. Trav, round done. Complexity 3-0.
Oh dear. That was pure mess. Especially around long there. with the duel between hallzerk and Try. I mean, in the end, he actually does really well to recover toward mid and get one more pick, but JT puts himself in a good position on both kills. Grim was the first portion of the mess when he tried to peek toward doors for a second time. He caught a bit of a mouse wheel jump. We know the MP9's very accurate mid-air, but I get the impression that wasn't a necessary jump or an intended jump either. And yeah, time runs out for No Way. Puts Imperial's money in a tough situation. They could, if they really wanted to go aggressive, buy Tech-9's utility around this AK, could still make it a pretty dangerous round. Well,
hey, time for a conversation and a pause, and we can get back underway. And all for Imperial, unfortunately, they're not going to bring a lot to the table here. I mean, it's going to be somewhat of an investment. You know, a couple of upgraded pistols brought to the table, but generally speaking, this one should be pretty comfortable for complexity unless No Way gets incredibly active. Essentially, he's got half armor Phelps, and Vinny also go in towards some armor too. So worst case, if that AK does drop, a couple other people can pick it up.
Yeah. I think the main thing for Imperial as well is that obviously their Pro League results were incredibly impressive. They got a couple of upset wins, which you wouldn't expect, but they played in general a lot less games than Complexity had to play at Pro League. So I just feel like the reps for Complexity are so much better in a series like this, but this one could be problematic. Lee just got an AWP of all things, and maybe he should not take it again, because that's very awkward, and JT only gets the one when he had a pretty well set lineup. B bomb site taken. This has fallen apart so quickly, and honestly, I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Grim and hallzerk, we just keep on what we've got. Unfortunately, it was a couple of missed shots and a couple of awkward fights, and a very simple one from Imperial as they just waltzed on towards the B site, and even now are still having a little look around. I can see Try, or Vinny Massa, in fact, with that eagle looking over towards ramp leg, spotted. Easy one for hallzerk to react to. He'll pop himself back over. He wants to see if anyone else around that corner does a bit more damage with the flash himself than anyone on Imperial. They'll be fine in the save here. It's not an active hunt by Imperial, which is the smart thing, because they don't really have the kind of the money in super built up terms for them. And of course, they've got guns they want to keep hold, especially that AWP in the hands of Phelps. So Imperial finally do get around on the board. They can kickstart their own map pick. We do need to see a big map out from them. That goes without saying. It's just because that Vertigo, man, it's such a good map for the complexity side, especially just comparatively to Imperial, who've had real issues with it, and not even just on an international stage, also domestically too. They've looked a little weak. So if they want to charge in this series, Dust2 is a must. Yeah,
seeing that kill from Phelps and toward JT from his POV is actually pretty interesting, because I really do feel like JT, if he gets that second, the round's kind of back on, but it's a great jiggle headshot from Phelps. And it just falls apart once they lose that mid control. hallzerk does well to get some control back in this round. Catches his 9th kill of the game without a single death. Vinny did get a really important entry on JT on long, though. And we're going to be refacing towards short. This smoke is still up, so it's going to give them an opportunity to go for this boost above that short smoke. How long do they keep themselves in this position, though? Lower tunnel player could be the one to get caught off, but they just drop off of it silently as he peeks forward. This is where the fight's going to go down. Grim's still hiding in that smoke, and now he's been separated, segregated by the molly. It leaves... I think it's Legion in such a bad position, and No Way will get flashed in for it. It's a bit awkward. He gets pointed up himself too, and then hallzerk gets caught as well, ducking underneath the bullet. The Senti just take him too, and Imperial fighting well early game after losing that 3-0 start.
Yeah, since the guns have come out, they actually look really solid. The AWP may stay alive here. I say may, because it's down to whether Floppy can hit these shots, and yeah, that's a good one. Look for a little more. They are starting to wrap. No Way. He's going in towards tunnels, and Floppy's got a bit of an inkling. The Spidey sensors tingling that there might be a potential player in through those tunnels. Bomb time has not got a lot of it left, so it's just about whether you can survive these last few seconds just as the bomb's about to go off. No Way's making a move. He is making a move. He's making a step as well. I think that was heard. And yeah, Floppy will thankfully survive there. So the AWP kept in play here. Question about what we do for Complexity in terms of a buy. If we get a buy, they might actually just give it to hallzerk and just maybe go for a bit of a half investment around this, but a weird round. I think, like you mentioned, when Elige gets separated via that Molotov from Grim, it actually falls apart. It feels quite strong until they get separated. They play together there. They've got an idea about how we're going to keep that short control, but not in that instance. So yeah, it will just be that solo warp in this round. A few upgraded pistols. I mean, barely even armor, to be perfectly honest. So Complexity, this one feels like a slight throwaway.
I'm giving it to hallzerk, even though he doesn't have the armor. Of course, Grim and Floppy do have theirs, but Trigo's a bit aggressive. But now this is an angle where absolutely no way could have been out-orped on, but thankfully he does expect the possibility of hallzerk refacing. Elige spotted. Vinny knows, but now it's all down to timing. And Elige's actually got through quite quickly here behind Vinny. His internal clock will tick over at some point, surely will Vinny. Elige could have gone all the way through, but neither of them are looking. This is now really awkward for Elige with just a P2K. How do you even commit to one, and who do you choose? It'll be the top mid player in Vinny. There's a double headshot, there's the AK. So 4v3, he knows that Phelps has walked into long, so he's holding a really smart angle. Great crosshair placement, and an incredible spray into spawn. No armor, he even had some aim punch to deal with, and that is the Elige we know and love.
There's no way he gets that second transfer. Elige, that's prime Elige right there. That is absolutely ridiculous. No way is perplexed. Where is he? And I think more than that, he's also pretty scared as well. I don't want to fall. I've got this AWP. My time time's gone, right? It's 20 seconds, and I mean, sure, he can collect the bomb, but he doesn't want that. This will be him just trying to keep hold of this AWP. Elige, absolute miracle man in this round. That is just brilliant. Three-piece. The first is great. The second, fair enough, it's like, okay, you've done some economic damage, but it's still winnable for Imperial. But the transfer is just nothing short of spectacular. And we'll take a look at this replay, I'm sure, in a second, but that is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, no wonder TC, give him all the love he deserves after that one.
Like, we're going to see, I think, some of it in a moment, but the fact that he manages to judge the... Okay, let me see if I can describe this properly. Because that one is great. He already knows there's a long player because he was behind two of them to begin with. Perfect crosshair placement. It's this one here. Like, he got aim punched for a split second. Yeah. And of course, he'd only just shot the long player. So there was even more recoil he had to deal with the reset of the AK spray. He judged it all incredibly well. I don't think I've ever seen a position like that get a round winning play. And Elige, man, he's always been known for his spray control in North America, dating back to what, 2015, 2016 at this point. It's unbelievable how good he still is.
That's a big round to steal away, considering what they had. It was an AWP and a few pistols, barely even armor, and they make that one work, and that is just something special. And I'm sure if this map goes awry, I mean, that is where we're going to look towards Imperial and say, this is the one you shouldn't have been losing. And that might have just kind of kickstarted things back in Complexity's favor. Smoke over towards short on the T side as well. So traditionally used as that lurk smoke. It looks like they want to set up for an A hit, but it's not committed just yet. hallzerk's dipped away. He's given them that space. Elige has come to join him as well with that AK. The time is ticking. 45 seconds now, Trav.
Yeah, enough, Imperial, in this round. Mid-sight molly, flashes over the top. That'll get Phelps in, and he might choose to drop CT from that position. We are going for a B-split. JT, good position. The immediate trade doesn't seem to be there, and he's got the help of Floppy. He will go down, though, and they'll both get run down. That's a B-site taken, but a huge fight has been won by Elige as Phelps' lurk does get removed. Bomb can go down, but Complexity have a chance at the retake with 2 kits available.
Vinny. Yeah, goes on high. Catches Grim. That's good. Retaking this B site we know is difficult, especially with Try posted on the angle. Oh, it's a big miss. That's a bad one to be missing because Elige will punish you. You don't get second chances against him. The bold buff is delivering as he's going to get a double. Oh, Elige, that is just, again, sumptuous. I'd love to see that first kill on towards Try from his POV as well, but how he swings indoors and punishes him on that second shot. But, my God, Elige is looking red hot out the gates here.
And that's what we want to see when any fan of Complexity does watch Complexity. It's often the main man Elise. There's the brilliant tap on try. Great little reset once again. Even though Vinny almost caught him jumping out window. Again, a good reaction to deal with him. Vinny will be upset with that. I think really in that sort of position when you're on B, especially on Dust2, you just want to give yourself that 1v1. Want a glimmer of hope to clutch. Not being able to deal with the lead was unfortunately his undoing. JT pushed up mid in the following round. It's again a round where Complexity do need to be careful because there is weaponry here for Imperial.
You can't count them out, that's for sure. I mean, even the likes of a scout, tags them, the pistols bag them, you know, the old classic strat. Feels like we want to default back towards B. Imperial have actually been able to get good space towards this B site. It's just about they've not been able to hold it. Floppy has got a lot of work to do. He is so isolated. There's no one even remotely close to him. He's got a lot of people he's got to fight in just a second. He's going to pop his head up and try. He was ready for that. That's the B site taken. Good luck here on this retake. It's not easy, especially like we said, because there is a bit of weaponry to work with. There's the first though. Elish looks for more. No one playing in towards backside just yet. Try. And with him falling, there may be a scout that they want to pick up, but do they? Looks like no for now as the smoke gets broken open. Elish continues to tear as he gets one more. Vinny gets caught. Grim will come in for one of his own and no way. A lot to do, not a lot to work with. Complexity, a successful B-site retake.
That is the saving grace for Complexity is one, Elige, and two, Imperial obviously had no utility to hold the afterplot in that situation. Yeah. What I will give props for Complexity here is one, how come they are, and also this lurk smoke. This lurk smoke is about to bloom right here. They then break it open. It gives Elige more space to play around, and I think that kind of instills some fear into the Imperial defense. Another really good retake from Complexity. And that little smoke might be a little bit of a masterclass because it just allows Elige to not only have his teammate throw the nade into it to break it open, he knows that that smoke might have a T player inside of it too because they have to play a bit crazy up close and personal with the buy they had. So I think it's a really good recovery from Complexity, especially B-site does too. They didn't even have a tunnels play on the retake, which is the main thing which I always talk about to make those retakes successful, but it's all Elige once again.
Yeah, exactly. 3 kills to his name. He's having a whale of a time, isn't he? At the moment, him and hallzerk, 11-2, 11-3 respectively for hallzerk and Elige, both finding their form. Exactly what we want to see. As actually, you know, hallzerk's obviously had his doubters, and I think he's been at times proving them wrong, but it's about getting
not again
consistency out from him. Yeah, hang on, what is going on here? He's slipped the net, and as hallzerk runs away, Elige, he's just not committing to the wrap. He's just going to stay in towards suicide because it's an insurance policy. And the thing is, they're not taking the bomb either. So even if Elige was just to move out and look a little bit to the right, he spots the bomb. If he looks a little bit to the left, he can catch that lower tons player in a second. Actually, both of them, no way, is set up here. Elige, this round feels like it's won or lost sort of off the back of his actions.
They're all sort of stock solid in mid there. It's kind of weird to see where Elige is and where No Way is and where hallzerk is. They just know they have so much control over the map, and now Elige, just take your time. There could be more on the plate. A lovely tap long range. Should get traded. Thankfully, Desenchi's in a good position. And with Vinny managing to deal with JT, his counterpart IGL, we're still in a 3 versus 3. We're up long. Bomb is still a long way away on the back of Vinny. But they have plenty of time with where Complexity are across the map right now. He's got Floppy worried about B. 35 seconds. There is a re-smoke on Desenchi. I'm not sure he's in the position to throw it for the cross, though, which is the biggest issue. They're going to have to get this bomb across somehow. Desenchi close mid. He gets a 1-for-1. Good trade from Grim. hallzerk will sacrifice himself for the cause. How do they get this bomb across? They have to lob it across, and they'll get it done. It will get planted, and it will get planted for long, and Vinny has the AWP.
There's Yuto here in the molly, in the flames jumping away. He was just burning, he couldn't get out of it. Now Vinny left with all to do. He's got to lead by example here, Vinny, with the AWP first. Even there, that flash is exquisite from Grim, and Floppy gets a freebie. And another round for Complexity, up to 7 now. Trav, I'm liking what I'm seeing. NACS, it might be back in this instance.
Yeah, I think that a very small point about that flash as well is that it was obviously behind Floppy, so he could just peek completely free. It was also not a high flash, it was a low flash.
Yeah.
And that was very hard for Vinny to avoid, especially when he's picked up the AWP. What I will say is I am slightly surprised he didn't commit to board playing pit or long plat, considering he had the AWP and the bomb was planted relatively open. But obviously, maybe the assumption is Complexity have a smoke, and it's really hard to smoke bang the diffuser from back there, right? So I think, in maybe hindsight, all experts after the event, blah, 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 maybe Vinny would have preferred to play a longer angle.
Yes, agreed. Imperial struggling though. No two ways about it. This T side, generally a lot of teams do like the T side because you're the one who dictates the pace and sets the tempo of each and every round. And at the moment, they're just playing into all of the traps that Complexity are setting. hallzerk, nice shot from him. Continues to be on a real reign of terror here. 12 and 3, but Alicia was also looking pretty good. He'll get caught.
Yeah. That is a big kill from Phelps. Only a second of the game. It takes down Complexity's raid boss. JT close mid, ready to go in with a flash again, but doesn't really see anything. So that might be false info later in the round. He goes refacing. Might have seen the shoulder of one. There will be a mid to B smoke thrown in. Incendiary thrown to maybe try and block any push out mid, maybe even trying to block that smoke actually from going in towards CT. A few missed nades overall though, and Phelps has jiggled out JT beautifully. Now gets the information, and I'm afraid, Floppy, you have a lot on your plate, my friend. He gets one, but it's only the one, and B taken. This time, even with a smoke and a flash and two kits, they're a long way away.
Yeah, you know, if this is like a 3 versus 3, and maybe a Floppy, even if he brings out like a 2 versus 2, he gets another one off the back of it, that might be workable. But I think in this situation, it's just not. B site, statistically, the hardest side to retake. I don't think we give this a go. Stick around for exits. Make it expensive, of course, because, you know, Complexity will know that they've been putting so much financial pressure on towards Imperial all the way throughout this game. And they know that any kill they find at the tail end here is going to have, you know, a pretty drastic knock-on effect, in all fairness, and Grim actually might get a chance. Even Grim going 1 for 1 here has a big effect. I might get more behind this. They can save him towards tunnel, so he does have to get a little active himself. Pop round, gets one, look at the 2. Oh, he nearly gets it onto try as well. Ooh, sigh of relief. Couple stay alive for Imperial, but I mean, it's a round 1, sure, but it still is expensive. 3 casualties still might require somebody to go into like a Galil, for example, if they do want that full belt to util. So Complexity, they keep the pressure on even in the rounds lost, and that's exactly what we want.
I'm going to make a very, very small criticism for Imperial. I think 2 of their players, with where they planted on B, they genuinely could have saved Car and not even gotten anywhere near Grim. The bomb barely does any damage, which is definitely something I think it should be changed. Like, you can save Car while the bomb is planted on B. Like, you take like 70 damage, but it is ridiculous that you can be allowed to do that. But it's a bit like the edge of the building on Vertigo, for example. You can kind of save.
Just looking longingly into Desenchi's eyes.
Yeah, Desenchi is another victim of hallzerk in this game, I'm afraid. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Imperial still obviously have their bites, all well and good. They obviously just have to go back to that Galil, like you mentioned. It's a small factor that maybe could help them in the future. Not that they need to take advice from little old me, but there we are. 4v5. No map control whatsoever with a minute to go.
Yes, yeah. Oh. Goes quiet. For a brief moment as Elige once again getting proactive. He's going to gain information. There's not a lot here, and hence why they start to bolster up this B site. hallzerk will come and join us. Floppy, he's not been doing a terrible job on the B side. He's always just been caught in like 1v4 situations. That Molotov is absolutely perfectly timed. Could have been a better way to slow them down. A flashbang as well to continue putting the pressure on. hallzerk, easy first. Looks for a second. They are stuck. Rock, hard plays, both of them. None of them are great. Phelps got to go huge and actually tapping away, but another Molotov will come down. So it's all well and good you get the kills, but you can't even get on towards the site. hallzerk again, perfectly played. Well, it has to be said, that one Molotov at 38 seconds, that wins in the round.
Yeah, perfect. That is the B defense we want to see. If you are Complexity, Poor old Vinny made his way out first, right? And he was just making his way out backwards, taking a bullet for his team to try and get away to entry. And I swear he was, I don't know, had his hand over his face for a solid 5 seconds. He was more blind than he's ever been before, bless him. And it never got any better after that. Complexity 8-3. Don't forget Imperial did hit back a little bit at the beginning of the half. Complexity started 3-0, then Imperial has something to work with a couple of rounds in a row, but Complexity, ever since they had that insane Elise round on the Eco, where he got the P2000 tap in the side and got 2 more kills with a picked up AK in an almost impossible position, Complexity haven't really looked back.
True. Another pause to be called in, another opportunity to have a bit of a conversation, but yeah, tough predicament that we're in. 8-3. Even if it ends 8-4, I still think Complexity have done enough here. I mean, this is looking like a really, really good Dust2 performance. If they get 9-3, that feels like already the nails are being banged into the coffin there. And feels like Imperial, literally and figuratively, are sort of 1 foot in the grave. Pop flash round, hallzerk. I guess they could be in trouble. No one swings to the back of it. So he spots the barrel, but he shoots off the back of the barrel, and then there's Floppy up close. Can't get his. Tries to line up another, and Phelps jumping will be another kill behind it. JT can't confirm that kill, and that should be the round. 2v5, surely.
Yeah, Complexity try something a little bit different on the final round of the half. You know what, I don't blame them. They've had a great half overall. Try and keep it dynamic. Leach has to go absolutely massive here. He's already got the car player, but working his way through is not going to happen. And Imperial do get their 4th, but it's 8 for Complexity at half.
we head in towards the second half with a slightly muted Imperial on their map pick so far, but a little bit of a resurgence, tail end, a strong start into the second half. Who knows? But complexity from the get-go, Trav, they've looked fantastic. Elige and hallzerk both absolutely shining.
Yeah, Elige was, I think, 2-3 early game, and then suddenly he was like 12-3 out of absolutely nowhere. Only took a couple of rounds. He had a brilliant half, and it was the instigator really was that round with the AK on the eco. Essentially crosses mids. He's quite a lot of information. hallzerk has the smoke and the flash in this round. What a brilliant tap that is. Floppy. Poor guy, he doesn't have a chance to shoot back there. Felt spotted on short as well, and we'll realise that complexity might... This could be their main option, being up towards short and toward A. That's exactly what's going to happen. Phelps with a nice tap, and no way. Lovely recovery, even finds another one, and suddenly, from nowhere, a few bullets shot means that hallzerk is 1v5. Couple of kills would be nice for the future, but he's not even going to be allowed to get that. Mr. No Way used to be a streamer, now a fragger in Rio and in his home country.
He's had a round there. He really has. Those shots were clean from No Way. But obviously, still a big task up ahead of them. Still quite the retake or quite the resurgence, may I say, needed in this map. 8-4 at the half. Get a pistol, great, but it's primarily looking at the gun rounds. That's where things were really quite south for this Imperial side. And complexity, we know that when they're on this T side of Dust2, they like setting that tempo, and they can really fluctuate with the pace in each every round. And that's where we look towards how Imperial can respond. So definitely not job done just yet. Not quite game on just yet either. Complexity, I don't think we're feeling the pressure. This one, a slight throwaway of a round. We have one P250 for Elige and a few Glocks. Not expecting a lot. If they got a bump on, that'd be lovely, but even that feels quite unlikely.
What I want is Vinny to get some kills on the MP7. I think the MP7 might be one of the most underused guns in the professional scene. Ones that are at least relevant.
Only really nerds who uses it, isn't it?
Only really nerds, really, anymore. And it's probably the best mid-range SMG. Like, spray control's pretty easy, very accurate mid-range. There's a lot of damage mid-range, but obviously just the price of it wards people away from it. Let's see if he gets some with it. In the cubby, essentially will be first point of contact. Vinny will then have a chance to deliver, and he gets himself free. There we go. Essentially should get run down. Actually doesn't. Does well. And actually will manage to deal with Elige in the end anyway. So there is the pistol and the conversion. Complexity will get the AKs out and will not want Imperial to get much closer.
Yeah, and Vinny with 3 there as well. A lot of cash built up off the back of that SMG kill bonus, which will take every day of the week. This is the round we look towards, though. It's full buy coming out for complexity, and what is technically, if we're being, pedantic, that bonus buy, for the most part, out for the Imperial side. They've still got money left in reserves on 3 out of 5 of them, basically. So we look towards this. Flashes out. Floppy. We'll get a bit of space here as well. They're going to try and contest them for this, and it works against No Way and Try. Both going to fall. Dissenchi also going to get clipped as well, just on the edge of that smoke. And that Molotov, it bounces weirdly. It actually works against Phelps. I don't think that was meant to be thrown that way, but unfortunately, it's the same result. And hallzerk rips ahead. Vinny just gets shell-shocked by that shot. That is an unbelievably clean first gun round.
I think not even they can believe how clean it was. So did you see the clock at the end of that round? It was on, there we go, 1 minute 28, look at the top of the screen. And the round was done. I mean, I understand what Imperial try and do, right? Obviously, they need to try and make something happen with the lesser weaponry. That's why they run in toward long and try and take just pure duels with manpower and pack power. Unfortunately, complexity bested them. And that is one way to win your opening gun round. hallzerk still on that scout, but 17-7. I would not put it past him to get another kill. It looks like Elige just wants to aim duel the site, and that is the kill going his way straight away. 19 HP only, does get dinked, and there isn't a smoke up on doors yet, so complexity are playing with fire a little bit here, and that will give essentially a chance to respond, but Grim, good shot. Yeah.
Good Molotov as well set up. That just clears any doubts there. And I think, as we're absolutely seeing, Try is by no means going to go look over towards that B site. There's no point. We've already mentioned it. Statistically, the hardest site to retake currently in the map pool. It was always the case in Back and Go when it was prevalent in this Dust2 map. And Complexity going to lock themselves in towards double digits. And the really uncomfortable thing now, Trav, is when we look at the buy coming through for Imperial. Sure, we've got a 5-7 saved, an MP9 saved, and that AWP, of course, which is the priority. But investments around this are going to be quite awkward. With 3 saved, you can always still sort of pull up some sort of buy, even if it's just the likes of MP9s, which do have their scare factor. But it's still Complexity who are, without a doubt, leading when it comes towards this firepower conversation.
Yeah, and the worst part of this, of course, overall for Imperial, is this is their strongest map overall.
It doesn't look it, right?
It doesn't look it right now. And if we go into Vertigo, of course, coming up next when we go into Vertigo, as I said to you, they've lost to Red Canids on LAN, they've lost to Sharks in the online portion of that CBCS event. They got kind of farmed by M80 at Pro League. Don't get me wrong, it was an amazing M80 at Pro League, but that's a game you'd expect them to compete in. Got beat by Pain in the Cologne play-ins, and even in the Rio qualifiers, which of course they didn't get through until they got the last-minute invite over Rare Atom as they had to pull out. They did lose one to MIBR there too, so it's not been a happy hunting ground on map 2. It does make me concerned for their future in Rio.
It opted for the lesser buy here as well, to not full buying here, full buying next. But in a way, that also means then you want to try and probably actually safeguard the AWP. You know, things go awry. You can even see Try is playing over towards mid, but he's not exactly committed to those fights. JT, does he clear? No, trigger discipline. JT's got to do a little bit better there on the clearance. They throw a Molotov, but it's still a big gap in behind. But Grim for 2, looks for 3 as well. The Molotov might give him a bit of a preferential fight as No Way's ticking in the flames. He's flashed as well, but gets 1, looks for 2. And still, maybe a chance at 3 versus 3. This round's far from done here, but still, this is where we do see the best of the best. Tries giving them a chance as Elige gets caught. The nade will come over and a little bit of damage as well, but the bomb goes down. 2 versus 2. They're going to boost the AWP up as well as Try will deliver, and Floppy thrust into a 1 versus 2. No, he doesn't even get the first. It's labored. It's so labored. And Try, like Imperial, survive a scare.
Floppy gets a lot of criticism, and those are the rounds that, you know, he needs to step up in. It doesn't matter if he has a slow game when the unit works, right, for Complexity, but that is an absolute freebie he's with there. And he could have easily won the clutch overall, couldn't he, considering it was the main threat that he would have taken down first. No Way does a brilliant job here, by the way. The fact he manages to get that 1 when Grim mollied him and managed to stay alive for a really long time, it really set up Imperial for that retake. And Try does incredibly well with the boost kill. And then that reaction to even take Floppy anyway.
Yeah.
Fast reaction gets it. Unfortunately, Flop very much stopped on that occasion.
Oh, well, Try. He continues this pretty heroic form of the last round. And even a little bit more damage on towards Elige as well. How's your reactions? Great is the answer. Phelps, good night, Sunshine. He'll get caught. Not in a bad game, Phelps, but Elige has just been nuclear.
He's been unreal, man. Again, essentially above the CT smoke with the AWP. Elige has crept past. I don't think it's been seen, and that puts a lot of pressure on Vinny. He's in a tough position. If they do decide to go toward B, he'll get flanked from either side, and that will mean he'll probably need 2.5, if not 3 kills. This is going to be so tough for Vinny. And it's an incredibly laboured spray. Oh no. The sprays haven't been hitting much for either one of these two teams in certain moments, unless you're Elige. And Complexity will definitely get their way to 11.
Oh my god! You can't be doing
Sit
that
down.
so
Sit
effortlessly.
down.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't peek him. Stop. What are we doing? Why are we peeking Elige in this sort of form? This is a death sentence. Stop feeding the kid. He is loving it. We're past the point of bowl buff. This is just ridiculous. Elige loving life right now in the server. That first shot is nuts on that ramp play, and the second isn't bad either. But why are we dying for no reason there? We should be just trying to save as best we can. Uh-oh. Oh no, he's getting spammed. He's getting tested. He will finally see off Elige. No Way desperately trying to stay alive. And he will by a mere half a second. Maybe even that.
Man, Elige is just unbelievable, dude. Like, I mentioned it earlier, but he's been doing this for like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Like, I know there are obviously riflers in the scene that have achieved a lot more. but I think he just, for longevity alone, he has to be talked about alongside the same breadth of, like, you know, Xantares in terms of just pure skill on the server. They both actually, I would say, have similar feelings in a way, you know, but struggling to get wins in tournaments and often being the best player on their team. It's a bit different for 1005 these days. They're amazing in Pro League, and I can't wait to see if they can do more in Rio. But yeah, it's just longevity deserves to be celebrated of Elige. He just doesn't stop from game to game as well, from CSGO to CS2.
Yeah, makes it look effortless at times as well, which is the thing. It's such a joy to watch on his day. Video get dropped the Molotov here. Good thing with this position, sometimes if they creep out as well, you do catch the shadows a little bit just on the edge, so he has a slight advantage from above, but they don't have the advantage in terms of the buy. It's 3 M4s, 1 FAMAS, 1 5.7 on Vinny. And it does look like this is going to be a B finish as well, the way they're setting up. Mid to B smoke going to be dropped as well by JT, so that should confirm our thoughts, especially with the Grim bomb on his back. His first fight, pretty important. Vinny cannot fall for nothing. Has to at least get the molly down. That's the one job he has to do, and he can't. Descendia gives it a good college try, but JT now, he's just trying to drag attention. He gets mighty close to winning out that fight against the FAMAS. However, Trav, numbers in favor of Imperial. They might give this a go. Well, I feel like they should give this a go. They've got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, you just have to. Even with a lack of a kit, just give it a try. Elige could be the dagger in the hearts once again, though. hallzerk can't win the duel. What can Elige do? Oh, he's somehow crept through silently. I don't believe it. He's found 2. It's now all up to try, and he's going to swing for it again. So much damage done. Oh, he's out of bullets. 37 HP. Where is this HE going? It could be close. All 4 HP now. Glock out. 1 bullet required. It's a 10-second defuse. Elige has got this one under lock and key. He has done it again. He might die, but it doesn't matter. Oh, my word.
Oh, Trav might die here as well. He will. Nothing saved, nothing gained. Surely he runs around. It would have been just a cherry on top if he got that third as well, but he basically gets it in spirit. What a showing. What a player.
Counts.
What a
Counts,
map.
mate.
Yeah, exactly. This is just, this is heroic. Heroic, this form coming through from Elige. And you know, it was him and hallzerk going head to head. I mean, he's slightly pulling away, but hallzerk's not being bad himself either. When he's been given those opportunities and when he's been given those frags, he's taken them. Try though, he'll shut down Elige. And hallzerk says, not to my boy. Who do you think you are? How do you want better?
Oh, that's an amusing trade in mid. What is this? A matchmaking credit farming lobby? Vinny breaks that smoke open. Descend chiefing like he has to push forward. Playing close door. Actually not going to show anything for now. Phelps close long with the 5-7. Again, great first bullet accuracy from Grim. Can't take the second though, and hallzerk can't exactly just run out with the AWP to trade. No reason to risk throwing that away. And Floppy will run into that little setup in mid, but that's good information for Complexity that Floppy has found 2 players.
Yeah, it's pretty heads-up counter-strike there as well. From Cole to dip away, but also from Imperial to start going forward. But the thing is, they have A. It's just the fact they don't have long, they don't have CT. They know there's a long player. I mean, they should know he has an AK-47 as well. So how do we play this? Bomb goes down. Nate comes over. Not really a lot of damage that makes it in any way really problematic. Molly will come down. hallzerk gets another. Looks for more. hallzerk is activating. Oh, my days. Can he get it tapped away? But he can't deliver on the third. It's close, but no cigar. But again, another great try. 3 kills to his name, but just not enough.
I understand him wanting to go for the AK at the end there. Obviously wants to be a bit more maneuverable once he gets it down to a 1 versus 1. But part of me wishes he maybe just played a bit of time. Maybe committed to a reload if he felt like he needed to. I reckon he could have got it in time. All around for Imperial to stay alive. Thankfully, good position being played. hallzerk tries to take it into his own hands. And the shot he hit on long was particularly fast and particularly accurate. And he deserves to be praised as well, does hallzerk. I mean, a lot of people were talking about him a few months ago, saying, oh, where did Complexity go if they want a new AWP? Now I don't think there's any question marks whether he should stay or not. He is rock solid on this team right now.
Yeah. One more round is what Complexity need to take Imperial's best map in their favour. and really open up this series in such a positive way for them. Try. He's got to hit a couple of hard ones here. There's the first. Goes in for a second as well. Oh, delivers it full blind. How's the third? Not quite there, but Vinny can bail him out of a tough situation. Try. Still here. Still delivering, and he will put up a heroic hold on towards that B side. 3 kills to his name, and that is a shutout towards B.
There's a world. It might not be this world, but it's only 3 rounds. MR12 can be a cruel mistress. Vinny does well to get on with the MP7. He's absolutely stuck in the middle of no man's land in the end. So to be fair, he does his job. Gets his one. Takes some distraction away from his teammates. Right thing to do. And now this buy. Oh my god, he's done it again. He's done it again, and he's done it to try. My god. Does 2 things.
Yeah, just does 2 things, isn't it? All right, Phelps gonna try and get active off the back of the Senshi. There's one. They're doubling up as well into a short. Being MP9. Oh my god. You know, you were talking earlier about why not many people use the MP7. It's because the MP9 does stuff like that.
I know, man. So accurate mid-air. The most accurate weapon mid-air, I think, in the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. Long-range bursts needed for Floppy. Calmly takes that one, and unfortunately, now it may be a bit of a disadvantage for Imperial. Phelps has 29 HP. Complexity had wrestled it back. He needs one. He doesn't just get one, he gets both. And that is great work from Vinny. Shows up when needed. That was a buy for Complexity. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this game still very much up in the air. Do not count it out. Imperial have locked in double digits. 2 rounds of difference. We're going the full 24. And it's a question of, can Imperial survive? Can they push it towards that overtime? Can they give themselves a chance in this? After the performances that Alige and hallzerk have had, you'd think surely not. But somehow they've actually made this a conversation.
Yeah, I can't quite believe it, honestly. Fair play to Imperial. And obviously it's only 1 gun round more to deal with. Great flash, but thankfully No Way's already got his crosshair in the right place. 2 kills well blind. Oh, that's a banger on Phelps, though. Unfortunately, no armor for Complexity in this round, so it shouldn't be more than that. Alige will be given it, but now down to 50. Can't blame them for giving it to Alige after what's gone before in this game, especially with no armor rifling. But with the amount of presence they have around the sites, the fact they've got a safe position here for try and help from long if it's needed, I don't see a world.
This feels nearly impossible to lose. I say that because Try, he's still at his moments as well. Good for 1. Reposition as well, so we can get some support from the rifle, and at range as well. Noah gets his bomb. Oh, it goes down as well, which is unfortunate for Try. It will mean, though, we now go to the round number 24. Trav, all to play for. We've only got 1 or 2 ways. It's either overtime or it's Complexity just stealing away the map.
Unbelievable. I can't quite believe it that we've actually got so close. I didn't feel that. Just in the state of the game, how it was panning out, that was the case at all. Today we've learned that the AWP through the corner of that half wall on ramp doesn't get a kill instantly if they're planting with their back to you, even if you're that close. So it does allow Complexity a bit of extra cash, and it's actually pretty impactful. Are we going to OT? Vinny's got the AUG out. Remember when Vinny was doing such incredible work in the AUG and Krieg era on those scoped rifles? And it's still pretty viable, that AUG, especially in situations on Dust 2 with the long-range angles. And
don't count it out.
Don't count it out, indeed. Try toward long with support. No Way is in position to help him out. The bomb is going towards short in the meantime, so it looks like Complexity are going for the A-split. Minute to go. There's going to be no flash toward long, though, and somehow, even because of that, maybe Try's just shocked there was no flash, and he gets actually damaged up, surprisingly. But in the end, got to give props to No Way. He's doing fantastic work, but hallzerk has got an all-important kill. Floppy locked in behind blue box. Phelps peeking from short. Could be a lineup. Yes, sir. 4 versus 2. Floppy stuck on long. He's out of bullets. He is done for. It's all hallzerk. Imperial have made an incredibly unlikely comeback happen. He's stuck in CT, of all places, and should get caught from car. He's betwixt and between. Now they know exactly where he is. He'll get caught, and Imperial have made it back to overtime.
Fair enough. That's actually a masterful recovery as well. I mean, for them, they looked completely out of this game. They did not look like they were offering basically anything for us to work with, and they've somehow got back into it, recovered, made a conversation about this game, and I think there's now definitely question marks that have to be said about what we see from Complexity, because they've cooled off quite considerably, even though, you know, Elysian looked great, hallzerk's kept his form, but they still are losing important rounds. This is tough. Imperial, they've warmed up.
Boost for try to look toward lower. Flashed off of it. Essentially, the boost. Complexity just slowing down the pace now. I think they need to just take a second to breathe because they're in such control. Elige was just having a totally cerebral performance, and it's cooled off very quickly. Noe has plenty of control towards long. I'm going to give him a lot of praise for Imperial's recovery in this game. 21 and 13 now, Noe. One of my favourite stories, actually, in Brazilian Counter-Strike.
True.
As I mentioned earlier, just being a streamer beforehand, it's his first professional team, and he can deliver against the top teams in the world. JT with the flashes over long prepared, but Grim doesn't even need them. Noe's going to get deleted this time, and a hallzerk will play off of his teammate's contact, 5v3 through long.
Flash behind it as Grim tries to cross, and he actually just makes it past in towards ramp as hallzerk will deliver on towards his own. It's the classic, right? When you're looking for that final round to see it over, you get it in the first round of overtime. It's always the worst kind of case. Well, I guess the best case with now in towards overtime, but you would have liked to have done it in regulation. Imperial, I think for the Senshi and Phelps, even though it feels weird to do so, saving is actually really the only option we've kind of got here. There's no real point dying for nothing.
Saving in overtime gives you minus 10,000 aura. It is a pure fact, but unfortunately, obviously, just not winning this round, so I get it. Elige obviously wants to see if he can catch one more. It would be impactful to take one more kill. He now knows he's in CT. Will get spooked away. Complexity, as is always the case. I think it was my good man Hayes, and even you as well, Neo, that has always mentioned that it's a rule that the team who was on 12 and gets come back on to overtime wins the first round of overtime. It happens so often.
Yes, the classic. I think it's like, for me, it must be this sort of mental block. We have this pressure, right? And you're like, I've got to do this. I've got to close it out. We're so close. And I think the second you go in towards overtime, it's like, right, I've got rounds to work with now, so I guess I'm not in such a hurry. The T-side starts well. We're out in towards long. Phelps, there's one to his close right as well, but Grim continues to move forward. Phelps doesn't get cleared properly, but doesn't hit his shots, and it's all falling apart. Yikes. Imperial just get absolutely destroyed.
That's actually pretty similar to that Complexity. Was it first gun round on T-side? Just absolutely destroyed them in the matter of 30 seconds. Grenades keep coming in. Essentially has multiple in CT to use to try and make something happen, but unfortunately it's not going to work. One small factor that I think is actually kind of interesting, Complexity have purposely chosen to take the A1Ss on T-side. I don't know if that's just how they're feeling right now in terms of spray control, and you know, the A1S is just obviously easier to control, but especially for a man who is a king of spray, for Elige to want to commit to that one too is a curious decision.
Mm-hmm. We will...
I get it.
Yeah, we'll be given the save here. And they've got all this side of the map to work with. They were kind of just floppy, sort of that insurance policy, just in case they wanted to go for a slight hunt at the end, but there's no real point if we're being honest. Complexity, find 14. 2 rounds ahead now of Imperial, 2 rounds away from closing out the map. Their opponent's map pick as well. We eluded them in regulation. They'd love to get it done here and now. They're in inching closer, bit by bit. And once again, we're going to see attack balls get caught as well, I think. Am I right in saying, yeah, TC going to get in the mic here. So an opportunity to converse. And of course, we know primarily that this is a conversation going to be held by Imperial. They absolutely have to try and rectify this situation that they're in. It's not an easy spot. They cannot go 0 for 3 on the CT side of Dust2. You cannot afford to go sort of that far down. And, you know, obviously we're looking to individuals like Vinny, for example, but also Zach, of course, the coach, has to try and rectify the situation. If you go 1 for 2, you know, it's not the worst. It's workable.
Unfortunately, not the only Brazilian team that is struggling. Pain have done a sterling job in their game against FaZe. They did take a map off of them, but unfortunately, FaZe, for Pain at least, FaZe have managed to make it through that one in the lower bracket, 13-8 on map 3. So FaZe stay alive in Rio, and Pain are the first home team to be eliminated. Gasenshi fighting through mid doors. That's very surprising he was able to get away with that, and to be fair, Floppy does well to trade it considering the angle was tight.
hallzerk, speaking of a tight angle, just the pixels there, but he'll reposition, bomb on his back. Where do we want to go? Try holding for a push out from doors. And hallzerk posted, if Try goes even a little bit to the right, he's a dead man walking. hallzerk, patience is a virtue. And while we've been, you know, praising the both of them, and I guess in particular Allegiance, hallzerk, who's starting to run away with the numbers game at the tail end here. Floppy, does he clear? hallzerk, he doesn't. Floppy thankfully trades, but takes a real chunk of damage. He's 1 point of HP.
That was a 99 in 1 dink from the AUG there. It can be a one-shot headshot, really close range. Unfortunately, that's just out of range. And Grim has done great work to deal with No Way. It's all Phelps. He knows exactly what's going on with Grim's position, but it's a great angle held. Nice little off-angle position, and Phelps will walk straight into it. And after all the struggles getting it done in regulation, Complexity have got all 3 on T overtime.
Yeah, exactly. 3 for 3. I mean, at that point, surely we can see it off now. Of course, they did fail to do so in regulation at a similar sort of round differential, but either way, I mean, the Complexity just looks like they're revitalized. It looks like they're back alive and awake and playing the way that they should. So on the CT side, can they see it off in their favor? CT side as well, is where Lige was doing all his heroics, pushing up and towards suicide, and hallzerk was going huge to the AWP, but he'll continue exactly like that.
Good response. At least No Way and Try keep the conversation interesting. Lige stuck lower, but he gets away with his duel on Phelps, only taking 1 bullet of damage as well. He has the opportunity to dive through that mid-door smoke to retreat. He knows there needs to be some help put into place on B, but Try will manage to catch him first. That's big. Need to break open the smoke. Doesn't really break it open properly, and even though he manages to right-click a deeper lurk smoke, there's not really an opportunity to get his way in until that incendiary burns Vinny into the open, and Grim, quick tunnels flank, not being looked at. No Way needs to be careful. Great adjustment from Grim. It's now all Try, and he's stuck on cart.
This is tough. This is seriously tough for Try. He's got 2, needs a quad clutch for him. He's looking towards window. He knows he's running towards tunnels. It's all a timing player. Where is hallzerk? There he is. But hallzerk just quicker. What a map from the King. Just shy of 30 kills to his name. He goes 29 and 16. And it will be Complexity taking the map 16-12. Trav, that was an absolutely heroic performance from Complexity to take Imperial's map pick.
They'll be disappointed with the fact they didn't get it done in regulation. That's the only worry, of course. They'll be perfectionists. They'll wanted to have had it done a lot quicker, but the overtime was just a brilliant reset. I have no idea what the call was necessarily, but thing to lose now. They weren't even meant to be here to begin with. They're 1 map away from the elimination. Just give it a go. Let's just give it their best shot. A good college try, as the words you used earlier. Like, let's just have some fun. You're playing at your home event. Let's see what we can do. Unfortunately, it's a sad start as poor old Phelps peeks gap and sees all 5 players and gets put down to 10 HP.
JT, looks like he might be that first contact need in towards Sandbag just to clear that position just in case. After the initial dink on towards Phelps, they Pop the brakes ever so slightly. In come the smokes as well. One of it towards CT1 to catch them rotating out. And actually now Phelps left quite isolated. He needs a bit of support. They're going to try and flash in for fight. And no way will deliver. Looks for two. Gets it. Desenchi delivers as well. And this is actually a really good response coming through. Elysian Floppy left with it all to do. And this is by no means an easy one. In the 2 versus 3, Desenchi pushes the smoke. Perfect timing. Floppy, gotta go huge. Good for one. Looking for the second as well. He's getting pressured as well. He's dancing around. He's above him as well. This is carnage. But it can't be delivered. That was close for a moment, but no, not to be. That's a start Imperial needed.
That's a first for me, seeing Try actually win a duel underneath double stack on toward the outside catwalk. That is pretty crazy that Floppy stays alive for so long. But this is one of the main reasons that just teams, even teams who are absolutely amazing on Vertigo, absolutely despise this map, because executing A now is just so annoying. Like, they have the smokes up, but if the CT side have a flash, you can just go straight through the elevator position and deny any plant, have at least 3 or 4 spots that the T side have to worry about. And it's so difficult to deal with. So, yeah, I think for Complexity, they kind of got the nades right, but there's too many areas to worry about. They have got a purchase, actually, in the following round, which is surprising, considering how that pistol went. 2 Galils are available. No helmets on either, though, so they are susceptible to every weapon Imperial have.
Oh, Vinny.
There we go.
He was ready for that. Absolutely. hallzerk, bit of pressure here. Deagle, it's messy. And it will be more kills just going the way of Imperial, bit by bit, chipping them away. A couple do come back in kind of quick succession from Complexity. You can't count the round out completely, but Grim had to get one there. JT left all alone. It should be a forlorn conclusion here, and it will be. Phelps will clean it up. And only a couple of casualties against that force buy. That's not bad.
They're getting vocal.
Yeah, they're getting pumped.
Why not? Yeah, as I say, what did I say about this sort of nothing to lose mentality? You may as well. If you think this is the last map you're going to play in the event, let's really make it worth it. Let's get pumped. Let's get excited. There we go. And, yeah, Complexity, I do question maybe that force buy there. I think that wasn't entirely necessary. I know you hate the force buys in those sort of situations, so...
Mainly on the CT side, I will say.
That's fair. I mean, I think the thing is with that strategy as well, even though they managed to pull one back, they were always at a disadvantage in every single given opportunity and moment in that round. So as soon as they lost Floppy, the lack of the helmet hurting, it was always catch-up being played. Grim tried to make his way through that mid-flank through window, but the A4 was too strong on Vinny. Phelps is going hunting here. No armor on any of these Complexity players. Is he going to pop his head into this position? Yes, he is. There is one big swing. Is there a trade? Finally, thanks to Elige. But No Way is here as well. And the bomb will be re-dropped on the floor. It's all Grim. He's out. Imperial, 3-up.
This is good. Yeah, vocal. I like it. Honestly, that's what they need. They need to play this one round at a time and actually just get pumped up, utilize a bit of momentum and start trying to put things in your favor. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Big fan of this indeed. This is how we're going to give ourselves opportunities. If you are Imperial, their best side, statistically, as we saw just heading in towards this, is their CT side, right? So if they can put up quite a stable one here, put the pressure on, who knows? Complexity, first true buy. It's Floppy for the first kill. It'll come over, takes a little bit of damage. That Molotov as well might tickle the toes slightly, but he'll drop one of his own.
Oh, Vinny, this little right-click smoke actually might give him a chance to do something with it. I thought maybe it was a bit more shallow than it was, though. I don't think you can see anything. But it might be able to peer above the plywood. Good nade damage and a good win on Floppy. They are going to be pouncing on this one, Complexity. We're in toward B with a couple, and they're kind of peeking one by one here. JT's gone on his own with the bomb somewhat. Let's dropped it on the side. This is very weird from Complexity to start this game. Once again, Grim on that mid lurk will get his kill, but look at Phelps. Elige should be done for, but he is in a pretty interesting position. It might go unchecked, and it is. Oh no. Poor Phelps, and even Elige playing trigger discipline in this scenario is crazy. He'll eventually get it, and it might set up Grim to do do more damage? It absolutely will. That's unbelievable. And Vinny, 2 kills. Even he's getting caught out. And you know what? He still has an opportunity here in this 1v1. Who knows?
What is this round? How has Elige made this a 1v1? He's getting active as well. Vinny is so low. Just peeking as well, but Elige is not quite spotted from here. He set himself up perfectly. Vinny, this is going to be a masterful swing and attack, but he'll get it as well. I can't believe it. How has Vinny pulled that off? I mean, how has Elige get that into 1 versus 1, first of all? But Vinny, that is actually brilliant.
I mean, he's 8-0. I'm like, what on earth? Oh, my word. As soon as Elige has the opportunity with Phelps walking up past him, I thought it was just a done deal, especially with how low Vinny in the end became. Massive from the captain. And like, he just knew to hard clear the angle properly, and he had to pre-fire it. And of course, Elige was only 52 health. It's not like he was 100 health, and a dink could have come through, and kill might not have been converted. In the end, it has to be said it was a messy round from Complexity, where they kind of peeked 1 by 1 toward B, ran up 1v1, and deserved to lose it. And it looks like right now Imperial are backing up those previous successes. They're walking through smokes. This is looking very weird early game.
Complexity need attack pause. They absolutely have to slow this down. They are getting overwhelmed in every single round at the moment, and this is really feeling very, very uncomfortable indeed. I'm sure we have to have some sort of pause there. I mean, for JT, even now, he might even be kind of just talking to the guys. He's got a minute to sort of burn here, so he might use this as a bit of attack pause, about calling attack pause, but I think they really need to bring TC in towards the conversation, because this is not looking like Complexity at all. They've actually been pretty solid on this map in the past, and we know that statistically it's one of their better ones. JT, bit of pressure. Couple of taps as well, but he will be seen off. 5-0 star, all 5 stay alive for Imperial as well. This is brilliant. Just to mention as well, speaking of the number 5, that's the win streak that Complexity have on this map at the moment. So this felt like a done deal. So what is happening here? We don't really know. I mean, even when you consider, you know, you touched on them, some of the results recently, Miles, Astralis, Big, Miles again, Astralis again, all in a row. That's their 5 streak there. It's decent teams. Even if you compare some of them as tier 1.5, they are very arguably better than Imperial in the current landscape of Counter-Strike.
And the craziest thing about that, of course, those results in Pro League, is the fact they've managed to do the double over Miles and Astralis, right? Sometimes it can be so difficult to remember kind of what went right. You know, the team's going to anti-strat what went right for your opponents, right? Once this happened just a few days before. So to be able to do the repeat is impressive, and that is not the form we're seeing right now. Scratch of the head, I don't blame you. This is a weird start. We've bigged it up to be a Complexity 2-0. We've said how horrible Imperial's form has been on this map. We've said how good Complexity has been on this map. Ah, yes, the exact opposite happens. We love Counter-Strike.
That is the definition of the caster's curse in a way. Phelps will get a bit of damage dealt his way. Elige, he will take a lot to that nade. He'll drop one of his own, so no way, not exactly healthy for the first fight. Phelps, good. Looks for a second. Oh, and he gets them with the help of no way as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, should get caught in the open as well, hallzerk. Grimmer, once again, is being a nuisance on these mid lurks. He's getting success nearly every single round, but on a couple of them, it's been a bit too late, I'm afraid. 11 HP. Essentially holding the angle straight up. What a pre-fire headshot. That's glorious. And no way is 3 HP. And he is the closest. Ooh. He is the closest to Grim. And with try on the AWP, you never know. I mean, it's one of those that could actually get out of hand. We saw Vinny win an impossible clutch, being 1 bullet from death. Can Grim do the same? The main problem is, of course, there isn't that bomb in his possession. Stuck on the ramp.
You heard
try
that.
Toward gap. Maybe heard something, like you say. Big white swing. Or hits 2 or 3 bullets, but Try will take it. And the clean sheet remains intact.
Try very nearly kind of potentially solved that round. That one just misstep that was audible. You see Grim instantly react to it. But yeah, like you said, the clean sheet continues. A little closer, a little more expensive, I think, than they wanted. But, I mean, ultimately, Imperial don't care at the moment. They're 6-0 up. This is brilliant. And, you know, we highlighted a couple of them. hallzerk 1 and 6, Elige 3 and 6. So they were the 2 standout performers in towards map number 1, and they're yet to get active. once again, ramp control going to be that early priority as Noe gets a Molotov down to stop them taking top control. And Phelps takes so much damage to the molly there. I don't know what happened there, but I don't think he realized he was in the flames. He's barely alive.
I don't know if my eyes are not working, but I feel like there was a damage taken in one chunk. I don't know if he got wallbanged or something. There's going to be the boost coming through now, and actually Phelps was one bullet from death through whatever. So, through the wall, he will get found. Great idea for Complexity to put that into practice finally. Get that vision over through elevator into CT. Finally have something to work with here. They have a 5 versus 4. They have full ramp control. Elige now figures out there's a heaven player. And figures out there's maybe at least 2 or 3 more around the site, but no way. Oh, that was the opportunity.
Yeah. So
hard to deal with, though, on that sort of left eye peek, I feel like. It's not a nice right eye peek from that angle. Try. Now has all the work to do. And once again, Grim. Oh, my God. How much success has he found doing this? It's how only might just now work out in a round victory, but Grim has been so annoying. He'll finally get removed, but JT will get the smoke spam. And essentially was low from earlier on. So Neo, Complexity, with a little bit more of a calculated round, it has to be said, have broken through.
Yeah, finally, they just get one, right? I mean, I think it felt for me where these early rounds, they were maybe a little bit lackadaisical, you know, their approach, a little laissez-faire in terms of how they were trying to get into them, and just thinking, you know, we won Raw Angels in the first map, let's just do it again. And Imperial, they mentally reset really well, it seemed, in that break. The Senchi won, not quite the second though, so good trade from Floppy, sticking together with JT, making sure nothing saved, but no issues really rebuying in. A couple of them have like 9k to work with over towards Imperial, so they're not low on funds at all. They come right back into the buy. It's good to see finally Complexity get around on the board, but this is the one of many. We need to see them kind of actually spiral to probably 3 in a row at the very least, just to keep this half competitive. They can't afford to go back and forth, basically.
True. And that's very often what can happen, right? I mean, how many games have we seen where one side, either on CT or T, has gotten off to an absolute flyer, 6-0, and then they, you know, as you say, maybe they become a bit lackadaisical, and, you know, the team figures out answers, and suddenly a 6-0 half can turn into 7-5, or maybe even 6-all. It can happen. And Complexity would then be definite favourites. Or the nades until we'll try. It's so awkward. You know what? He does well to get one. He probably shouldn't be alive anymore, but he still is. And he's found one more. Phelps can then come in and help out. And maybe it was just a flash in the pan for Complexity. Imperial 7-1. And in their favour for Brazil this time.
Yeah, this ramp control is getting absolutely 0 mileage. They cannot take ramp. They are struggling. Shadow betrayed. And I think Phelps having a little bit of fun there, and honestly, just scaring him. Grim, he's a known quantity. His Shadow will betray him all the way around in this fight. So even though Phelps gives him the space and, I mean, gives him the respect, in all fairness, there's no chance. Not at all. Try at range, sees it off. Great round from him. 3 kills to his name. He shouldn't have even gotten 1, if we're being completely honest. He's actually getting fired up, and yeah, rightfully so. This is great work.
Yeah, Try, you're absolutely right. I mean, the fact that Try gets mollied and naded in sandbags, this is the first kill here. He then is forced to move forward. Look, he's in the middle of no man's land and he still gets one more. It's just great, calm play from Try. This might be the best map I've actually seen from him in recent times for Imperial. I've kind of spoke before the game got underway, like, I've always been a Henny enjoyer and I feel like he's better. But this is some great stuff from Try. Impressive. Happy to see it as well, for the sake of the CT side's chances to even get a decider. And Phelps is being cheeky again. In the smoke toward bottom ramp, it is being looked at, and that's going to be blown open. It didn't blow it open, and they should surely he gets 1. Yeah, there we go. So he takes a leash, but JT was always going to be there. So an easy, quick 1-for-1. I think, to be fair, in the end, Phelps will be considered slightly fortunate to get away with that one.
Well, in all honesty,
ramp control.
That one misnade actually does have pretty big ramifications, right? Because the fact that Phelps even gets away with one, he never should have had that luxury. And who knows? I mean, just having that numbers advantage could be massive in a moment like this now, where they wouldn't be at a man disadvantage. There's no way activated perfectly.
Yeah, man advantage. So impactful in these situations. That is a good nade to break open that LE smoke. But Complexity, it looks like they might just try and shift up onto the site here and get a safe, in speech marks, plant. It's not really that safe at all. And it's definitely not safe when you get taken down through smokes. Oh, poor JT. It will go down, but as hallzerk tries to fall away from the plant, it's all down to Grim. 1 tap, 2 kills, looking for a third. Oh, it's so close. He needed 1 more bullet, and he would have been ready for Desenshi's rotation as well. Nice try, Grim, but Complexity just can't get anything going.
Yeah, that's NT in the chat, but what we're witnessing here is a massacre. I mean, it still is. I mean, it's all well and good saying, you know, close but no cigar, but they can't afford to have that anymore. We are 8-1 in favor of Imperial on a map in which they don't like. I mean, this is being brilliant. And Complexity, they are crumbling at the seams. And it has to be said as well, you know, one thing that we have to consider, especially now at this sort of a scoreline, Trav, is that map number 3, right? You know, we've got to look at it and talk about how statistically, arguably, Imperial are the favourites in that one. It's actually been a bit of a weak map, Anubis. They've had their struggles on it. Yes, they play it a lot, but they have also had some worrying performances at times. So that's where maybe Imperial, that would be insane if they were to lose your own map pick and reverse sweep. It's very early to have those conversations, but the foreshadowing is most definitely there. At 8-1 now, and I mean, who knows?
I said to you, didn't I, that percentages and recent records of maps don't hit headshots? Well, look at all the headshots Try, Vinny, and Phelps have hit in this game. I think the whole unit has performed really well, which is the main positive for Imperial. Boost toward gap. Oh, this could be awkward if a Liege wanders up here. He'll probably see a knee first. It is being looked at by No Way, but that barrel could protrude. There it is. Should see it. Gets 1. Thankfully, No Way does react, but Floppy has found Try in the meantime. And they have ramp control again, but they need to find a way to finally translate it. Oh.
Thanks.
That's rough.
Yeah. No way. He should be dead here. Oh, he just get a tag up towards JT before falling. 2v4. Complexity, we can't lose this. We cannot lose this. And 1-for-1 trade, it still makes this very difficult for the Senshi. The nade, a little bit of damage on towards JT, just not quite on the right spot. And I think he just keeps hold of the AK here. It's not that they're exactly in money troubles. I mean, a little bit to a degree, but I think just for him, it'll be that priority of keeping hold of that AK-47. Grim, other ideas. 8-2. If they get an 8-4, maybe we can have a conversation, Trav. But anything less, I feel like, I don't know. This just feels like they just haven't shown up here.
Oh, that's actually thinking how that kill came through for Floppy. That's a huge kill. That was an amazing catch from B-Stairs there on toward Try. Huge thanks to our replay operators for showing us that one. That is a critical element in winning that round for Complexity. And yeah, you're absolutely right about that money as well. I mean, look at it. Like, that AK save is actually was vaguely imperative, to be honest. They might actually be fully ecoing in this one.
Yeah. I think if they had the AK save, they actually could maybe attempt to buy, because he could have dropped actually 2 guns over in all fairness, because he had 5.1k when he had the AK alive. So he could have actually dropped a couple over, but he doesn't. He dies, so it changes things up. So that hunt's actually super, super effective. 8-2. Complexity. This should be a third, surely, fellas. You know, there's barely even pistol investments in a couple of cases.
Money being all over the place means that they can afford a Hero M4 under Senshi. And Try has more than enough money for that AWP in the next. And there is that M4 doing good work. And now he'd definitely be advised to possibly finding a teammate to give it to on 14 HP. He's done his job. Is Try close enough to maybe pick it up, swap it over?
Yeah,
Phelps is spotted. There we go. He has to be wary of another player to the left, of course, or to the right.
Oh, hang on.
Actually, he might choose to bypass it. This is so smart from a Liege, man. It might get caught off, but I really appreciate this choice. He's going to be behind the main ramp. Oh, he hasn't seen double stack. He hasn't seen double stack. Hang on, it's Whiffy. He gets 1 back, but should die, and does to Senshi. It's all Floppy out of nowhere.
How? Against this sort of buy, how are we losing this? Not just yet, though. Floppy. Up towards the bomb as well. Vinny's not going to go on. Vinny's going to walk into demise. Oh, my God, Floppy. He bails the boys out, but the fact that they even had to work that hard for that sort of round leaves us, Trav, I think it's easy for me to speak for the both of us thinking, like, you know, question marks, how have we got to that point?
Yeah, I think Elige definitely overcooked there, and he almost burnt the round entirely.
Yeah.
Like, thankfully for Floppy, it was still edible, and he managed to get it over the line. Of course, only up against a USP, it's the freest of free kills, but it is spooky for a second. A classic round from Complexity to give North American fans heart attacks. And look at the buy for Imperial on the final round of the half as well. Vinny down to the MP, his trusty MP7. Thankfully, that's the only shortfall.
Still. A timid start to the round. I say that. Elige, he'll get caught. No, wait. Good for his, as JT starting to move their way forward as well. Only head showing as well, and Vinny will be able to deliver with that MP7. Might go in for seconds off the back of his flash. One into his back wire. Second there as well as Grim gets both. Or should catch him, will try. What have he got for us? 2 versus 3. Numbers favouring that of Imperial, and that flank is expertly timed. Try doesn't need to peek. He doesn't need to move. This is one of Phelps. Not again. Phelps. He overlooks the position again, but it's not to be. 9-3 at the half. We'll see if things will continue after the break. Very, very awkward in the rounds themselves, but Imperial won the hard ones, I think, is the most important thing for us. And a 6-0 start going all the way in what was a very one-sided first half on a map which shouldn't be. This is always meant to be. Seriously lofted it in favour of Complexity. It just didn't feel like that at all. How that went so south, I do not know. And it nearly got overlooked by Phelps at the tail end here, but it wasn't to be. We're going to go towards a little break. We'll see you after the half.
unexpected expertise from Imperial on Vertigo, and they're causing Complexity plenty of problems. They need a insane CT half to somehow find this 1-2-0.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of it. Complexity just looked like a shadow of their former selves. This is meant to be a surefire thing, and the way we're at the moment, it feels like map 3 is our destiny. Phelps and Floppy, others divided by a single plank of wood. We'll see whether they meet eventually, and they do. Shots to the nuts there from Floppy as he's from below. hallzerk catches, try, blind into Senshi, also gets clipped. This is the star Complexity needed, but it's not done just yet. Vinny, he's had his moments.
He has. He's got the spicy new Glock as well until he throws it off the map. Thanks, Vinny. Appreciate that, dude. But he has the opportunity. Grim thinks he could still come through window, so a quick check to close right. That's where he checked for a lead in that clutch, if you remember, on low HP. Looks like he wants to try that. Pre-fire, misses a few shots though, and then gets gooshed up by hallzerk. Big for Complexity. A must win. They will win.
Yeah. So far, Try's been having a really good map, even despite that pistol loss. 16 kills to his name at the moment. He's looking really, really good. And, you know, what a response, especially on the back of how good hallzerk was. 29 kills in that previous map, and he says, well, you know, you could do it, so can I. I'll have my moments as well. He'll be delivering, and, you know, generally speaking, Vertigo, many pros say, is the hardest map to be as an AWPer. But, in particular, it's hard on that T side, so we'll see what Try can deliver when he gets to those opportunities. He'll be the one wielding the quote-unquote hero Galil in this sense. It is a couple of P250s beside it. hallzerk for 3. Okie dokie. Can we get all 5? Maybe just. Vinny sees him off there at the end, and he will only get 1. hallzerk, quad kill. Nice and simple.
The investment does remove one player. Those rounds on the sort of second round after the pistol where you force with the IGL or one player to try and get some damage done, and the other 4 save to get the guns out. We have got some headsets being taken off here, so hopefully if it is a tech pause, it won't take us too long. It was a nice tap from Vinny. But yeah, we see that quite a lot on Dust2, right? One of the strats that does come into practice is where one player, probably the AWPer, would maybe buy a scout or something, and all the other 4 would save, because the scout is so impactful on Dust2.
It's true. It is true. You know, especially, you know, with if you get a couple of upgraded pistols as well, even the scout gets body shots, the pistols can clean them up, so it can be pretty scary. Maybe like a Tech 9 no armor type vibe, but seems like there was like a brief little check of something. Headphones are off for a moment, so a slight technical issue. Yeah, exactly.
I think have you know you played in a show match once,
I
right?
did play with those headphones. I did. I actually I borrowed. Oh god, it's bad. I'm gonna forget his name now. This is so bad. I forget his name. He was Zeralt. That was his name. I borrowed Zeralt. I borrowed his whole setup because like. I played the show match that was out in Mongolia with Mesa, and it was Team Neokai versus Team K, and K is he's like the number 1. He's kind of like the equivalent of Gaules to Mongolia, like number 1 streamer, really, really famous over there. Has been following the Mongols for years, and like all Mongolian teams, even with their IHC, etc., etc. So he's kind of like their equivalent. Me versus him with kind of a mixed team or whatnot, and yeah, I used his whole kit, but we did use those exact headphones actually, and I got to say, I kind of doubted it, especially when, you know, in the arena where we were playing, there's about 5,000 people in there, and it was pretty loud. There was a lot going on, a lot of music and stuff, and I was like, there's no chance that it's going to be able to keep it out. They're actually solid. I couldn't hear a thing. I could feel the crowd when they would, like, when something cool would happen, but yeah, I couldn't hear anything. So they're very impressive headphones.
Is it painful, the in-ears and the headphones over the top? Like, is it hurt over time, or?
I think in-ears are, but it's because the in-ears aren't mine. I think you can get ones that like
molded.
Yeah, molded ones. So I have a feeling if you look at Imperials, those ones, I think that you can mold them. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And yeah, so molded ones are a little bit better. They fit a little bit nicer, I think, in that sense. But yeah, mine they weren't molded to Zeralt's ears, but they were not for mine. Like, I don't like I don't know what you even call it. Do you know, like on some earphones you get like that rubbery?
Yeah.
I don't like that. My ears are massive, mate. They're like absolutely they're like wings, you know what I mean? I'll take off in the wind.
Like big ears from Noddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dumbo flapping in the wind. So it's one of those where they just fall out for me. So the issue is like every round I was like having to like readjust them. So I think if you get ones, especially like where it goes over the top of your ear, I think they're a lot better. But headphones themselves, they're quite tight, but they're actually quite comfortable. So there was
those in ears and just in general earbuds, they never stay on my ears either. To be honest,
same.
Like I've always like my ears are just dumb. Sad to say, it is what it is.
Yeah, looks like I think
we had some phones come out, which I would imagine means a relog into Steam and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
so. Hopefully it won't take too long, but for now, I hope you'll at least accept the waffle.
You'll entertain us. Yeah, on this fine.
Yeah, talk to us about ESL Challenger Atlanta, of course.
Yeah, good fun. It was a great event. In a quote-unquote way, we got slightly unfortunate. Myself and Scriv, we did all of the massacres. Sleep tight, my king. Rest well.
Full recline.
Me when tech pause. ESL Challenger Atlanta, very good fun, very fun event. We had, I think we did the first 4 best of ones, and it was like 13-3, 13-2, 13-5, 13-4, something like that. It's like really one-sided, not much of a competition in those. And then our first best of 3 as well, same thing. Rooster unfortunately didn't have the greatest of events, and they got kind of battered 0-2. So I think, it wasn't until we got on the final day, the 2 semi-finals, they were both real, 3 mappers, very, very entertaining. And of course, that final was sick as well. For those who missed it, it's worth going to watch as well. FlyQuest taking on Big in that one. And, I will spoil it because it's already happened, but FlyQuest ended up winning in a 3 mapper. Alistair was incredible. Really, really good performance out from him. So, yeah, like, worth going to watch back that final in particular, but the final day with the 2 semis as well was really good. It was a weird event as well because there was like other stuff happening alongside, like Haley Welch was there for those who
no.
Yeah, they may not recognize the name, but you might know her as Hawk Tour.
I'm not. No. I'm taking my headset off. Bye.
She was there, and she was watching. Apparently, she was watching the final. So, kind of wild in the sidelines watching Counter-Strike. She probably even. I don't know if she would have even known Counter-Strike like prior to this. But
sorry, what are we talking about? What are you saying?
But that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was a good event. It was really good fun. Good to see FlyQuest as well, finding some form. I think Big looked really, really good all the way up until basically, I mean, even in the final, I think they looked really solid as well. Just FlyQuest, Alistair was playing out of his mind. So
Alistair, man, like he's taken so much stick, and how he performed in that final. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the viewers would have caught maybe some of that.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. Like truly ridiculous.
Yeah. One thing I will say as well, Crimbo, what a player as well. I mean, he actually, he was the equivalent of that no help meme as well. I think he in the final finished like a 1.8 rating despite losing. So yeah, he was brilliant. So really cool event, really fun to be involved as always with the challengers. Did the Onspring earlier in the year, which Complexity ended up winning, of course, over
with you.
Falcons. With you. Yeah, exactly. We were both there
on the desk.
Good times. Yeah, I was doing the analyst work. It was always fun. But that was a really cool event. And yeah, we got to see Complexity lift some silverware, something that of course has eluded them in a way. And I think it was probably obviously for them quite nice to finally, feel kind of vindicated and say, right, this is actually working and we can now win lands.
Grim's having a nap as well, bless him. I mean, it is obviously like...
What time is it in America? I don't know what the time difference between America and Brazil is. I feel like...
True. But as you can see, local time near 8 p.m, so... obviously it's getting a bit late at this point. Yeah, Challenger's always a great time. As I say, I was lucky enough to be in Yongshiping as well, and that's where Complexity got that win. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory is correct, that was their first trophy. Was it since 1.6? I'm pretty sure.
Something like that.
First official trophy. Yeah.
It's 5:54 or 55, I guess now in Dallas, Texas. So just a couple hours behind. I was wondering whether it was like a little bit late because obviously for us now it is.
Oh, he's awake.
He's awake. The boys.
He has arisen.
We're going. Yeah, but it is one of those where even for us now it's 5 to midnight here in the UK. So
it is.
Feels a little late, but I've got my Monster Energy drink keeping me alive right now. So
hell yeah.
Especially after a late finish on Atlanta, straight into Rio. But that is it. The love of the grind, the love of Counter-Strike.
I can't believe you managed to do that, to be honest, because like obviously I'd love to at the same time, but mate, flying back on the same day as doing a big event like this, like that's crazy. Bless.
Like 2 hours sleep from finishing Atlanta, and then I slept a little bit on the plane, and then once I got everything set up today, I had a nap earlier, which was quite nice, I have to say. Not live.
Well, we've waffled, guys, through the tech pause. I hope we entertained you at least somewhat, because now the action is back, and Imperial 9-5 up. Is the pace going to be changed? After a tech pause, going for something super speedy could absolutely catch out your opponent, and you know what? It's caught out a leash.
Yeah. Pants around his ankles. Oh, JT. He had a moment to get a drop there. U-turn hand, and he'll be caught. B-side open. But it's a 3 versus 3, and Floppy, he's still lurking in towards lower stairs. He's looking for him. Oh my god, Vinny. He's going to clear him. He just has the better gun when it comes towards wallbang damage. And yeah, unfortunately for Floppy, he might have had the drop, but the MP9 is not as impactful through that metal fence.
Huh. Grim and hallzerk are both here, but Grim wants to go searching to figure out if Imperial are still committed to B, and essentially in a fantastic position, and there we go. With the flank in mid, catching hallzerk in the side, gets Imperial their first T round, and pretty quickly at that as well. They're in such a good position, and honestly, whatever they called after the tech pause, after that long wait, which of course is it's a rule where you can't necessarily discuss strats during a tech pause, it was an absolute barn burner of a call.
Yeah, I really do love those calls as well. Straight off the back of any sort of pause, tech or tack, go quick, right? Get up in their face and just see if you can catch them napping a little bit. And it does work, right? I mean, Elige gets completely caught off guard. And, you know, unfortunately, it still remains to be actually quite the quiet map out for Elige. That volley spreads him towards hallzerk, so he'll start the round out, taking 55 points of damage.
This is one of those rounds where it's a full investment, but it's not everything you'd want.
Yeah.
And that at 10-5 down is extra painful. JT only on the Deagle, having a little bit of a rough game, 4-13. Not the end of the world if his stars deliver, but it's been a struggle compared to Dust2. Imperial, I'm going to have to give them a huge amount of credit for how they fought in this series, and they might have more fighting to do in IEM Rio at this rate.
Let's see. Floppy. He's got the flash lined up from back 90. And it comes in the flames as well. He tries to at least get one before he falls. He's actually managed to escape the flames. I think even he's puzzled. He runs out of ammo. Getting one isn't terrible, but this is going to require something special from the pistols. And Grim goes huge, looks for two, delivers as well as Try will also get caught. Maybe a slight overextension, gets slightly greedy, but 2 rifles and a Deagle, surely unlosable in a 1 versus 3.
Bomb is recoverable for no way, but surely Complexity might decide to triple swing. It's almost unlosable that way. They might still find a way. Oh, they almost clutched defeat from the jaws of victory. That was too close.
Way too close. And I guess, once again, this is where we are seeing slight issues and errors plague this side a little bit. Oh man, that is a huge sigh of relief to us watching, to Complexity fans, but to Complexity themselves. And that got as close as it did. One more bullet and it could have been wraps in that one. No way, not a bad effort at all. 10-6 though. The money broken over towards Imperial, so we will be looking at most likely a 7th on the board. Complexity not out of this game just yet. It might have been a lackluster start, but they have started to find their form.
Oh, JT. That's a lot of damage. Fair play. That's a... He doesn't get a single kill yet. He's done a great job there. He's warded them away. Phelps does have some space to work with toward A. hallzerk is keeping a close eye on it. The response toward Gap will allow him some more space to push forward, and it looks like Imperial are going to now team up, because Phelps will be saying, listen, guys, I actually have ramp control somewhat. I'm behind the smoke toward Gap. I can do something with this. They are planning a boost. Be a good timing for this, but Phelps is wandering near that smoke. Need to be careful. And in comes the dink. Now it's very, very scary. Elige caught in between a rock and a hard place. Finally gets the kill, but in come the pistols. Try only has a Glock. He does well to find one, and the bomb will go down thanks to Vinny. But now they're so damaged up, it might have to be Desenshi going absolutely crazy here. And Floppy, Vinny, will go down. It's now Descenchi, low HP on a leash, and JT's gone first. One bullet to find on a leash, but he can't hit it. Oh my word, what a lifeline that could prove to be for Complexity.
Oh, they are so fortunate once again. 4 points of HP on a leash. How has he survived? Yeah, exactly. 2 times in a row, they've had the luck of the gods on their side, but my god, will you take it if you are Complexity, as they continue to chip away at the deficit, now only 3 rounds away from tying up to Imperial. However, on the flip side, Imperial are only 3 rounds away from pushing us towards that map number 3.
This is kind of what Vertigo can feel like sometimes. Just random duels happening at random timings. Pistols can do so much work if the execute comes through and pinches certain CTs. What was the HP, I think, of the previous one? It was like 14 or 13 or something.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
17 health between, what, 12-5 and 10-7? Absolutely insane. And unfortunately for hallzerk, again, the next round has started poorly. Grim, surely she'll pounce when he sees utility being thrown. He will, but Floppy's gone down in the meantime, and B can be taken.
Descenchi, nice find. JT gets caught. Grim and a leash. What's the plan here? What's the play? I don't know if we've got one. If we're being completely honest, we might just be sort of turtling up and keeping on of what we've got. I don't think that's a bad call by any means. They don't really have the long-term funds to work with. Even with these 2 guns saved, I don't know if we're going to be getting any sort of a buyout here. Shadow spotted, so Phelps will fall. But still, you know, we're not giving this a go. And the real question mark is, what are Complexity going to do in towards this next round? Like we said, they're just not going to have the money to work with in terms of a buy. So is it going to be forcing around these 2 guns and hoping that they can really find some form? And maybe arguably we have to take a risk as well? Or do we eco and then basically give Imperial 12?
Every single stat pointed toward a Complexity victory. 5 in a row on this map against good opposition at Pro League. Imperial do not like Vertigo in the slightest, but they're playing with nothing to lose, as they so should. And it might just give them an opportunity and a decider where those numbers perhaps might be more on their side.
Yeah, they've kept that noise up as well. I love it. They really have kept fired up Imperial. Like you said, nothing to lose, backs up against the wall, etc., etc. But 11-7. Complexity, 6 in a row. They need to take it if they want to do it in regulation. It feels highly unlikely. Not impossible, but very improbable is the way we'll put it. Where Imperial, just 2 more rounds. A couple more hurdles to get it. Let's see if that's going to be the case, but yeah, tough predicament, without a doubt.
Had the chat. This is where it matters. And again, it feels like Complexity have but they've really struggled to have a proper buy for many different rounds in this half. They've found a way to win some of the crazy rounds, don't get me wrong, but hallzerk's only got a scout in this one. We've got 2 MP9s. Imperial to take their time, play out their defaults, do what they know how, and the strats that have worked before in the past. And it's a bog standard classic B execute. Floppy will have to smoke that back 90 molly, and he'll stay stock solid behind it for now. A nade to bank off the girder if there's anyone playing white box. Right now it's just a lot of presence, a lot of control. Imperial can still make up their mind to go elsewhere. It's drawn a lot of rotations. There are 4 players around this portion of the map right now.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe a slight over-rotation. I mean, the Legion's got to try and slow them down desperately. Spots 1. Now I'd assume we'll try and call over at least 1 person to come support him. Now, Molotov hasn't spread to his position, so he can reclaim some space, but actually by not rotating, the bomb's going back to a heavily stacked site here. What is happening? And P9 of Floppy overextends, jumping in there. Honestly, getting 2 is actually pretty impressive.
I'm very impressed by that. And now hallzerk with the scout can just continue to tag and frag, Try is down to 29 HP. Grim's here to help out. Now it is just Try, and hallzerk once again delivers, whether it's Scout or AWP. He's having a great series. Huge round to win, and it's basically down to the complexity call to stick around or toward B.
Well, yeah, that's it, right?
And JT.
Yeah.
Stop, to be honest.
Very true. Very true. JT, getting rid of that second is actually mammoth there. I mean, the
last
first
tick, right, of his life. Yeah.
The first is really, really impressive, right? Because he just kind of tries to reclaim that space, jumping up on towards wood, but actually getting that second there, he's done a lot of work to really help them out. It looks like we're going to buy here for Imperial, which in itself is inherently a little bit risky, because if you lose this buy, not only do they basically get a 9th, they then get a 10th too, because your money gets broken. Oh, they should get a 10th, I should say. And at that point, one round game, that's anybody's game. That's where potentially complexity are not quite out of this just yet.
This would be a great recovery. They've had a number of those T rounds, which we obviously criticised, rightly so, for kind of just going one by one and looking a bit lost for some unknown reason, it feels like, considering how well drilled they've looked on this map previously. Still 3 behind. Imperial, though, always when your opponents are on 11, you always feel like you have a chance, no matter how far you are behind, and it's only that 3. Little boost for a liege. They're not looking for it. Could be 2, or almost was. He manages to strafe away. And hallzerk has found Phelps in the end, and the amount of damage he did to Try means that that banked HE finds one more as well. This buy you mentioned for Imperial that was so important has been deleted within 30 seconds.
Essentially, he's barely alive. That 1 foot in the grave situation puts all the onus here on Vinny. This round should be done. And if Complexity do it flawlessly as well, how that flips the narrative of where the momentum is in this game. Oh my. The big thing is just making sure that Imperial don't get a plant, right? If they get a plant, they might have a little bit of reserve cash to do something in the next round. If they don't get a plant out here, which, I mean, in all fairness, a plant feels highly unlikely. It will mean that Cole should, without breaking too much of a sweat, get the important legs spotted and spammed. That's also the bomb too. That should be the round.
Oh, if it's 5 alive, that is huge as well. The Sentry only 22 HP. Elige is going, looking somewhat. But shouldn't be long for this world. And with all the rifles staying up, there's 3 AKs on the side of Complexity now. Does make me wonder if they even want to go for the AWP in the next round. They should be able to afford Elige to drop one, but it might not be needed or even wanted. I mentioned how hard it is to AWP on Vertigo. I've seen many a rifling setup work really well, and in the end, JT does see him. And honestly, it's very small micro. There was an opportunity just to wait a few seconds there and kill him after time. That would have been massive, but doesn't matter. Just a little nitpick. They win it with 5 alive, and they're very much in touch.
That's true. One low buy round is the difference between this being right on the shoulders of Imperial. You know, a few upgraded pistols short. Even armor is a luxury that some can't afford. Essentially, and Vinny won't go in towards that armor investment. A little bit of util to work with as well, but I don't know, we've got a chance here, if I'm being honest. Floppy peeks in spots nothing, but time is of the essence here. He's going to reaggress, and it's really scrappy. Thankfully, as a supporter, JT to try and help him out.
On the fullback, Floppy just spams his USP in absolute desperation and still gets his 2. There we are. All good. All's well that ends well. Little boost, but the only thing that's left. Nice shot, nice reaction toward JT, but they're both now walking wounded, and there is Elige once and for all. The round gap is 1. It was a 9-3 half to Imperial, remember.
Can't believe it's got this close to what was. Even at the halfway point, we were saying, my God, you know, this is map 3, where we're going to have to start focusing our attention there, and who knows, Imperial on that Anubis statistically are the quote-unquote better side when you look at the numbers, but that might not even be required. Imperial are going to go for their 3rd and final tack pause to hope to close this out. They can still do it in regulation, but my oh my, a complexity breathing down their necks, plenty of cash in arrears, all the momentum in their favor, snowballing massively, and well, it goes without saying that Imperial are very muted now, where at one point they were very loud.
I think a round like this, remember what worked prior, and quite a lot of it was speedy plays. Sure, it was speedy plays maybe on timings that Complexity weren't expecting. Of course, there was that round that Imperial won directly after that extended tech pause we had, where they kind of just rushed no way up a ramp alone, actually, which was a bit surprising. But yeah, it's now on a knife edge, like you say, and Complexity can rebuy everything. If they do end up somehow losing the round, and they could go back to a hallzerk corp if they wanted. Poppy will be given the M4A4 this time. Drop over. Essentially looking to move his way forward next to this smoke. There is a deep re-smoke from Complexity. Might be pretty awkward to fight through. He will manage to find one, but here is Floppy. He needed to deliver. His sight mate has been removed, and he's found 3. Vinny tries to use the pallet, but Floppy's deleted all 3 of them.
Something about flop and can't stop. I forget the quote, but it's back. Down to 2. It's not impossible, though, for Imperial, because both Phelps and No Way are full HP. And there is a belt of util and No Way to work with as well. Don't count it out just yet. Creeping our way forward. Another smoke picked up. This can be a right side gen smoke. And as well, we maybe go for a smoke over towards construction. The Molotov could be used there as well. What we're saying is they've got choices. They've got options here, which is something a moment ago it felt like they didn't when Floppy got that 3rd.
They've actually managed to put the silent boost into practice here. Thankfully, those boosts are all fixed, so get them up successfully. Floppy needs to be ready. There's flashes coming over. Okay, it's a dink at least. It's not that bad. It's going to be a good molly on toward that default plant position as well. And actually will force Phelps off of it. He's healthy, thankfully. Maybe a couple of tags to that molly on toward No Way would have taken him down. Here's another nade. It will do a decent chunk, but Grim and hallzerk now a lot of pressure on this retake. No Way playing on the pallet, on the low HP. Phelps is now here to support. This is a great decision from Imperial, and it's going to catch out Complexity. hallzerk should know they're on his left. He's waiting for that smoke to fade, but Phelps has better vision over the corner of it, and Imperial at least have another overtime.
Yeah, look at that. The celebrations, they get the noise back. Oh my. We are far from over here. Complexity, once again, will require overtime if they want to see this series off in a 2-0 on their own map pick. But Imperial dug deep. In that 2 versus 3, they make it work for them. Really well played. I mean, Floppy does good work to even, get 3.5 kills, basically, at that point. The dink on towards the 4th, but it's not to be. JT, only an MP9. hallzerk's got his AWP, which is good, sure. He being set up, will bank over and will do a healthy bit of damage as hallzerk for that first. That's important. Tries being spotted, but I don't know if Alish wants to stick around here.
That's the assertive hallzerk we needed to see, and he's managed to find a second as well. Imperial found a really good way to break through for that 1 round to guarantee overtime, but Complexity will hit straight back. That AWP coming into play really did make a difference in the end.
And I'm just thinking now as well, I mean, if you look at the money over towards Imperial, if they don't get a bomb plant here, they're actually in a really awkward financial state once again, right? And this is the issue when you have these flash in the pan rounds. It doesn't give you strong finances. So there might even be a world which No Way and Vinny just, turtle up and save here and then hope that, Desenchi, Phelps and Try can sort of squeeze a buyout, because there's no way we're pulling off a 2 versus 5. Not in this position. So I think we're just going to keep out of the AKs.
I hate to say it, but we're saving for a whole minute, I think. That is the sensible option. We've got an AK on an AK.
It's facing backwards.
I'm not sure.
I hate that.
That's not gonna
so
that's not gonna shoot 2 bullets though at once, I'm afraid.
I wish it was facing forward. It's a small thing.
I know.
They just like
or at least thing.
You could pick which way it faces. I feel like,
Pick that, because you can pick to put it anywhere on the gun you want pretty much. Like you can drag it anywhere, like stickers now, so it's like, yeah, I think a bit of revising with that would go a long way.
True.
Little dangle.
Well, Vinny will get nothing short of just a consolation frag. That's it. Leach gets caught, but it is what it is. 11-12. Once again, we're here. Full game. Round number 24. And we once again ask the question, is it closed out here in regulation? Or is, once again, that overtime required? And you would feel as well, if it does go towards overtime, that's where Complexity have the advantage. Just because of the momentum they've got in their favor. They have been on a bit of a hot streak here. Imperial, we do have a buy to work with in a semi-loose term. We've got a Mac 10 coming through for No Way, Galil out for Phelps, a couple of AKs, and a slightly okay belt of Utah. It's not the worst in the world. It's workable.
Absolutely is. JT on the MP9 still. They wanted to focus on rebuying up utility, of course, so they actually can't get him on an M4 in the final round of regulation, which is a bit annoying. Prefers the MP9 over the FAMAS. Don't blame him. Already kind of won a round all by himself on that MP9. Floppy needs to deliver. Bomb drop. That's huge. Oh my word, he's done so much damage. Try and essentially are so low. He's right on the edge of the building. I'm feeling nervous just watching him, but that damage could be enough. Elite, no, he's going to walk into the mid-window, and Phelps is boosted. Quick headshot. And even despite the health, there's still a world for Imperial to take this in reg.
Floppy. He'll double back to back white. Like you mentioned, though, that bomb being dropped is the all-important thing. We've tried, and essentially just so low. If only they had a HE, if only they had a Molotov. They could even confirm a couple of kills in this position, but it's not to be for now. Smoke will come down. Perfectly placed as well to just sow the seeds of doubt.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, the jump on top of mid-box when he gets Floppy 1. It's going to have to be JT. He's made one step on the grate. They might have heard that. They might realize he's behind default, and No Way's hit an incredible shot. It's hallzerk with the AWP in a clutch, and they're all so low. How on earth does he deal with this? Oh, they're planting in the open. That's incredibly risky, but Phelps will find the kill anyway in a map which Imperial have struggled on so much, and Complexity are so good on. They've upset them, and we're going to a third.
That is absolutely crazy. I can't believe we are going to a third after what was all the stats we spoke about, all the narratives we brought in towards that.
Any errors on that T-half? I think the main thing that kind of comes to mind when I just look back at it here through these highlights, it's how many, I guess you could say, discombobulated rounds there were. They were kind of peeking one by one up B. There's a couple of rounds where they lost the bomb and just continued to push off the back of it, even though they had no map control elsewhere. There was pushing through smokes on weird timings that didn't really work. So, you know, it can be like that sometimes, but there we are. The standoff knife round.
I like this. Who makes the first move? Who's going to break formation here? I studied history at university. Don't break formation. That's number one. It's sensitive. It's timid. You don't get to cast a knife round.
Closer.
I like this. We get to see the knife round. You don't get to see this all that often. But it's actually massively important. This is the most T-tide map in the pool, so getting that T-tide start is huge.
First guy that goes in, it's going to instigate the brawl. Come on, lads. We've got
Phelps and No Way haven't moved an inch.
we've got a broadcast to finish tonight, lads. Come on, get it over and done with. I know you're right. It is important, though.
Yeah, 58 minutes, but fellas, don't use all of them. You know what I mean? Carnage. Oh, it's all. Oh, hello.
Me too.
Is he tagged? No, 100 HP. And both of them are tagged. Oh my god.
Oh.
If he can get one right click off on any of them, makes it a 1 versus 1. If he can survive a right click, well, also he will.
They're nodding each other.
I love this.
Is there a rule on how long a knife round is supposed to last? Because that 58-minute timer, if they really wanted to, they could just be really annoying and last all day. I know they don't want to, but
I think the admins will start. Yeah, the
admins will be like, come on, guys, get on with it. Okay. 2 right clicks, this is Doable. There's one, he's avoided the second, he's won the round. He's won the knife round. He's won the knife round. What an absolute menace. The Norwegian knifer.
I love it. I mean, even they're laughing about it as well. But it is, it's funny, but at the same time, for Complexity, they do get that preferential start. I would assume T-side just because this map is inherently T-sided. But yeah, this is pretty important in that sense. So fair play to hallzerk. Everyone's having a little laugh about it as well at the end. But we're getting ready. Yeah, of course. UK boy.
Yeah,
we've got to claim them where we can. You know what I mean? I was doing it with claiming death, of course, for M80. We've got to do it.
Obviously,
he's been in America for so long these days, but we've got to claim him. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting map. I mean, when we look at it on paper, it is a map that you have to make arguments that Imperial are going to be the slightly better side on, at least in terms of the numbers. Granted, a lot of them will be domestic numbers, in all fairness. You know, teams like Sharks and Bestia, and, you know, some losses are against teams like Pain, Solid and Odic, who I would say are maybe the
rough results.
Yeah, the slightly better teams, but I think what we've learned is that you just can't look at numbers anymore. Not off the back of what Vertigo, you know, what just happened.
Yeah.
In no way, if you got on a numbers game, there's no way that Imperial should have been able to say that. And the fact that they did is huge. So going towards this, of course, for complexity, they've had some ups and downs on this map, and I think it's unfortunately a little bit more downs in the sense, you know, losses at Pro League to the likes of M80, to Liquid before that, the 4 showdown to Falcons pretty handily, and Liquid 2 on the way toward the pistol, and the Julies good for 1, for 2, looking for 3 as well. He will get sniped away by Grim, and this is looking like a very good start for complexity.
And they have chosen to start CT, so interesting.
Want the strong start second half, you know what I mean? Get the yeah.
They want to try and like get as many rounds as possible, and then sort of like say, okay, guys, now we're on the favored side. Let's just relax, do our thing, and we should be all right. You know, and obviously we always, you know, we sound like a broken record as casters talking about how this map is T-sided. Obviously it's a fact, but it's something you have to mention. But there are so many things these days you can do as a CT. I think the meta is definitely evolving to, you know, help out new ideas. Obviously there's smokes you can put down to the top of the canal stairs. You can push aggressively into canal, taking A main as a group, taking B main as a group. Like, you have to say super mobile. One of the best teams I've seen on it actually, you know, managed to figure that out. I think it's been Eternal Fire lately, actually, especially up to that Pro League run. They're very good at that CT aggression on this map. So, Pistol's going to go well. Finny tries to nab the bomb, and hallzerk says, what on earth are you doing? I will take the kill. And the Pistol goes their way.
Yeah, all right. Good start. Needed start as well. You know, we had to come in towards this, set the tone very well, give yourselves all the advantage out the gate. So it's a nice little mid-crunch coming through. The Julies do very, very well. Gets the support as well of the USPS of Elysian. A simple one, ultimately. Complexity, short first blood. The one thing that basically let them down as well, it has to be sent towards Vertigo. They went 6-0 down. They were really looking uncomfortable. So, you know, the fact that they immediately sort of shrug that off, heading in towards map number 3, it's exactly what we want to see.
I think it's so important for complexity as well to start to get results on Anubis again. I mean, you rightly brought up their recent losses, obviously, against teams maybe they should be competing closely. And they weren't even close. As you said, like the couple, and one against Liquid in Cologne and the one against Falcons in the showdown, like you say. They did find a way to get one over FaZe at Pro League, but that was a FaZe that was a little bit below par. Yeah, anti-eco works perfectly. All 5 players will remain alive. So they're going to have to use these MP9s to the best of their ability in the next, maybe with some aggression toward main or something like that on A or B. But with Anubis being such an integral part of the map pool now, I think recovering their form on it is going to be super critical to them.
Okay. Imperial. First gun round. Vinny, the slightly lesser firepower as he picks up the glue, but he wants like util, because the rest of the team don't really have a lot of util to work with, so keep an eye out for that. Over towards complexity. Kit's nearly all the way across the board, bar a leash. They'll be fine in that sense. And this is, technically speaking, a bonus. No way. Eats a grenade as well. Yeah, very nicely placed. I think bit of prep coming in towards this map to know those lineups. Phelps, this is a bold call individually from him. He sits in this smoke and he waits for it to fade. But generally speaking, on these fade smokes, the player on the other side of it has the side advantage. As long as hallzerk isn't exposed, he can get one and get it for free.
Floppy will figure out what's coming his way.
Ooh.
Outside A. Lots of noise being made by Elige, though, on that rotation. He's not been quiet about that at all. Phelps has hit, I think, 2 headshots through that brick. Tough angle to remove. He tries to go super cheeky for it, but guess what? Elige just staying alive means that help has come through. He'll finally be removed, and 2 kills do come back. But great work from hallzerk in the meantime. Oh, Grim goes down to Desenchi, though. Hang on. 2v2. Complexity are still in good positions with the bomb in main, and of course, Desenchi walking wounded. 35 seconds, though. Imperial have a chance.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be peeking there for Grim. You could have just played time, and either they went in towards his A sides coming through mid, it would have been fine. Floppy should have been able to get at least one there. So definitely a tougher spot. And they're going to tuck, right? I like this from Complexity, not overextend, but they are playing divided. So this bomb will get planted. There's nothing that really Complexity can do about it.
Essentially, could still have a big part to play in this round, but it might still come down to the last few seconds. Big swing. Oh, amazing crosshair placement. JT tried to just run him down, knowing the situation, and now Floppy has got this kit. Can he isolate the duels? No, he can't. Desenchi comes in and checks it. Huge round from Desenchi. I think it was even Alige in one of our pre-map interviews talking about how impactful he can be in these tough situations, and guess what? That's another one.
Big quad kill. Big quad kill from Desenchi as well. I mean, he does the last two with 3 points of HP, so that is absolutely masterful. Like you mentioned, that crosshair placement is sumptuous on towards JT. So yeah, he knows. He's getting fired up, and that's what you want to see as well for Desenchi. You know, one of these players who's come up through that system in Brazil, and somebody who, for a while, it was called as a bit of a gamble when Imperial picked up both himself and No Way being that streamer, and Desenchi kind of being that player who didn't have a lot of that top level experience, or barely any of that top level experience. But my God, has he come into his own on this team? They've given him the roles, they've given him the space and the time to work with, and yeah, what a talent.
Yeah, making a major, of course. It's just incredible that he's come from there to get stickers in the game. Oh, lots of damage done to Complexity. hallzerk actually does well to strafe away there as that resmoke comes through. And they have got a 5v4 with Phelps dropping, and No Way 17 HP, but it's significant across the map. Alige always going to get flashed in, but it doesn't touch Desenchi. Another brilliant headshot from him. And Floppy wants to go searching. A flash in that smoke. That's going to completely blind up Try. It took a second, but he gets the kill. Great proactivity from Complexity. They know they had to do that. Otherwise, Imperial will have the control around the map.
Tough spot for Grim, though. This fight into Vinny is important. He gets it. And now he gets the support as well. Doesn't even need it. It feels essentially also going to get a clip too. All down to No Way. In a 1 versus 4. And he's not given that luxury. It was a timely play on that flank, and JT gets in behind really well. So, an instant response. No ability this time for Desenchi to go for his individual prowess in that one. Shut down at just one.
That round didn't look like much with how Complexity won it in the end, but it actually means so much for the state of the half. Considering how Imperial won that previous round, Complexity were in, I think it was a 5 versus 2, and they managed to find a way to lose it.
Yeah.
So, to bounce straight back and put Imperial back on Glocks again, it could have been the other way around. It could have been Complexity on the eco if Imperial found a way through that one. So, that's a big round in the state of the half, especially on CT side, to get some more economic control. Lige has some farming to do. Does well to find 2 in the end, considering he was being somewhat overrun. Smart angle from JT on an angle that maybe your head is half hidden. And No Way may have picked up that M4 and he may be lurking around, but Vinny's only got a Glock alongside him. Some progress toward A, but there's the loss of the M4, and the bomb will go down on that too.
He's basically going to hope that he can just catch somebody off guard completely. Bit of an unknown angle. Floppy in heaven. Oh, yeah, spotted now. Not only that, it was, you know, for Vinny, he was hoping that somebody just pushes out for A main and he can just catch him off guard. But no, not to be. You're going to get an early tack pause coming through as well. At a moment for Zach to converse. And I guess for TC as well if he wants to. But so far, so good. I think well played. But I do like this pause from, you know, the Imperial side as well. For them, they should realize that when we head in towards this next round, it's very important. If we lose this, we're actually in a bit of trouble. It's going to be kind of the role reversal of what we saw in towards map number 2, right? Where it was a very strong start from Imperial and all the gun rounds weren't going well. Zach realizes the importance that they have to shut down Complexity's momentum sort of now. If they don't, we could be talking about Complexity 6-1, exactly the scoreline that we saw at one point on that Vertigo. And that's already where we were starting to spell quite a few doubts.
Yep. Of course, Payne already eliminated as well. Did some good work against FaZe, but in the end fell. So Imperial want to stay alive and do themselves proud, just like Furia have done in the upper bracket. Of course, Na'Vi and Liquid currently going down on the main broadcast. They could have taken map 1 over there.
Yeah.
So Alige looking to be flashed in, although there's a world in which they could have possibly lined up, but great little spin away from No Way to keep his vision. But once again, JT will regress. JT JT's individual level has been pretty solid. He had a very slow Vertigo, but he's shown up in important moments. That double MP9 kill comes to mind to basically win a round single-handedly on the B side of Vertigo, and another big one from him here. Great adjustment and a recovery of the advantage.
And now what? JT. Just tuck. They go actually really proactive out here in towards A main. So they're going to chart to get potentially a bit of a flank. Floppy, you've got the right idea. Trust yourself. Back yourself. And he will. No, wait. Tap down there by Floppy. It leaves it all down to 2. Try and Phelps. Oh, this is not an easy one for them. Especially with an AWP as well. A lot of this reliance comes down to what Phelps can do. And the answer is nothing. Grim and JT will make sure that there's no conversation there at the end. Only the one casualty to shut down the next investment. That's really good.
Yeah, we try our best to build up those rounds, but sometimes you just get destroyed. You get owned. It happens. And this is huge for Complexity. On CT as well. They chose to start, of course, on this side after hallzerk's pretty impressive knife round win, actually. Who knows how integral that could have proved to be. Small little things. Try's got the CZ out, and I'm going to take the opportunity now on the IEM Rio broadcast to say my true thoughts. If you use a CZ over a Tech 9 and a 5.7, you are trolling.
Yes,
Thank you, and good night.
The IKEA builder gun. Stop using it. I'll put it simply. It's ass, man. The 5.7 is so good. The Tech 9 running like that is so good. He will get his, and he actually does now get an opportunity to get a gun as well. Floppy is the big contingency to try and deny this. They might be able to get a bomb plant out of this. It's on the back of Phelps. Plant is a tap. It's not a commitment. Good trade, though. As Phelps falling, the sentry, surely no chance in hell. This would require something ridiculous. He pulled off a 4K earlier, and he did it with 3 points of HP in the final 2, but half armor and a Tech 9? Nah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just timing as well as he looks away toward the position of Floppy. Great work from Grim. Now, this is when Complexity can be at their most dangerous, when the entire unit is working together. So often it can be the Elise show. Earlier on, of course, on Dust 2, it was the Elise and hallzerk show. But when Grim pops up for important kills that we're seeing here, my guy is going to be 11-1 now, as you see, with an important quad kill. That's when Complexity can defeat some of the top teams in the world. We've seen that. They've seen they have that capability. Just about finding that consistency, which can be so hard to find at the top of Counter-Strike. Only really Na'Vi has it, making those consistent grand finals in a row.
Yeah, it's true. 6-1. Complexity. They are very much laying down the gauntlet here to Imperial, making life very, very difficult in the server. This has been a tough game, back and forth in this kind of brilliant America's derby. But Complexity are inching closer in this final map. We had a 3-mapper, of course, in our previous series, another one here. That's exactly what we want at Rio, S tier. And for us as well, we don't get that many opportunities as well at these S tier events, so it's good to get these lengthy games. Alish, he'll get caught early. That's Vinny. Good work from him. Just a bit of instincts there. Oh, netting that first.
There's a lot of history, of course, between these organizations as well, dating back to some old major qualifiers from a couple of years ago. There's that famous, I think, 22-20 third map decider between these two orgs to make the major. I think when Imperial was still playing with Fallen and Fur. That one is one that's locked away in the memory banks. That was an absolute hood classic. And once again, they're battling for elimination. Is good on toward Phelps. Floppy close doors. Usually the A player. Maybe he won't be expected here. Maybe he won't be expected to go aggressive. He's found a good gap here. Slip the timing, and Grim will peek with him to deal with Phelps. JT will then swing. Oh, it's bad timing for no way. Vinny was not holding the angle correctly. Bit of miscommunication there for sure, but it's still a 3v3.
Grim. Gonna play over towards backside. Nade. A little bit of damage as well. Swing. Ooh, what a reaction from Vinny. That is great for that first, but the response is arguably as good. hallzerk doesn't want to get tunnel visioned in here as well. He's all alone in a 1 versus 2. What have you got for us, King? He looked to the first, delivers. hallzerk surely not into sentry. Denies what could have been an absolute clip there. A second taken by Imperial, but they have to really work for these rounds.
hallzerk completely outdueling his counterpart there. I mean, that was a perfect swing and a perfect pre-aim. So speedy. And then they try and go a little bit aggressive, as you see, through that main smoke. Vinny over the top of it, deals with it nicely. That was the great reaction kill on toward Grim that really changes things. And then essentially just has, once again, amazing crosshair placement to stop the swing. hallzerk close, but not this time. Second is good, but they need more. And of course, complexity. There have been a number of close rounds. Grim spotted E-Box, but only a ding. Thankfully, JT's there. So yeah, there's been a number of close rounds, which means complexity's money isn't perfect. It's a bit split. So Imperial could break them somewhat and still get some decent rounds on this T half.
Alish. Good.
Nice.
Fine. On towards Phelps. That's important. Keeps the numbers in favor. Ooh, I say that only briefly. The flick from hallzerk doesn't find what he was looking for. Floppy going to tuck himself over towards the table. An angle often cleared, and actually Try might just flash no way into this.
Yeah. Picking up some of that now.
You can hear them.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise, and actually he'll continue peeking, but it's actually the Mac 10 to best him. Leech has to go aggressive. Oh, it's not been heard. It's not been heard. Oh, until the very last second he was running a long way there, Leech. What a great check from Try. They should know JT is often that B player, and even though he gets that kill, he's been brought down to one bullet from death. Sure, Try and no way they're walking wounded too, but with the money as it is, we know what JT's answer is going to be. Grab that AWP, get out of there.
Yeah, tuck his tail between his legs and run. I just don't think there's a world in which we can make this one work for you. I don't really think on the other side as well that Imperial really want to hunt. They can't actually really afford to lose any guns, if I'm being completely honest. If Try was to fall, for example, with that AWP, they're not reinvesting into it. So it's a good third for the Brazilians, but a lot more work needs to be done. As the quote says, job's not done. Not yet. Not at all. Complexity still that lead, but they don't want to allow Imperial to build in towards this game. While it may be a slow start, as we saw in the second half of Vertigo, any of these teams start to snowball, they can be tough to shut down, and it was nearly the case of Complexity pushing it towards that overtime. So don't let the Brazilian side start to fire when they get loud and they start shouting and they start to warm up in towards games. We know how scary they can become. So yeah, interesting times we're at here, and of course I think we're going to see another attack pause being called. This is a third attack pause early in towards this game. We can see the pressure of this first half already as TC, in his side, you know, primarily the first two were from Zach calling in and saying, right, let's slow things down. This is how we're going to play. This is our idea, and it worked, right? He called those attack pauses and he brought them back in towards this game. TC is now realizing what's at stake here. We're actually on the brink of being full reset. You know, even Leisure gone in towards MP9, for example, here. This is a slightly dangerous situation where it could even lead to, if Imperial find this, 6-5 is probably the likely case, and who knows how that final round goes.
Yeah. Try was the key, as you can see there. That was just that one kill on the flanking Elijah. Elijah was being pretty loud about it, and the reaction basically confirmed the round. Huge. Elijah did amazing work in mid, actually, in that round to avoid the molly and actually win his duel in the end, but overall, couldn't get that second to possibly change the outcome. Working toward mid. Smokes are up. Elijah needs to be wary. Great counter nade. Essentially down to 50. Elijah could swing at any moment. Great flash. They're both so blind. He finds one. Knife has to be out. He's got him. He's got him. Try gets embarrassed. Elijah had only that option to go to, and he manages to get the two.
That's ridiculous. How has he got away with that? Will Floppy get cleared? Yes, it's the answer from Phelps. Okay, round's still on here, but I can't believe Alish gets away with a knife. At the very least, that's money in the back pocket.
Oh, and that's Grim again. He's 14-3. He's 14-3. 2 kills in mid again, and mid is so important on this map, and he has owned it so often for Complexity. Imperial do well to actually recover the round a little bit anyway after the madness of that knife situation in mid. But no way now. Stark last alive. I think he knows that obviously he's got the AWP of hallzerk locked in. There's no reason for that AWP to peak, but he's being pretty juicy with it. It's hallzerk. Here's where 2 players are now, no way. but that was a great shot from JT from camera. And they'll at least confirm a slight lead, and it could be more.
Yeah, well, that's a good round. It's a good round. I think, you know, the main thing is just, even if you got that kill towards hallzerk, just go and get the bomb and get the other two, never to be. We'll go back to this.
Phelps.
Yeah.
Phelps' POV, it's so funny just watching his teammate get knifed and there's nothing you can do about it. That's so unfortunate.
Panic is brilliant. It's funny, but it's also good for the money too, right? Just making sure there's so much left over. Complexity will guarantee bare minimum a lead heading in towards our second half, but how deep does it go? Nade is chunky. Oh, and they line up as well. Elige, great work. Grim for the first, but that entire play is basically off the back of Elige. The nade and swing combo.
What a beautiful bit of aggression. We mentioned aggression. This is a round that they didn't even necessarily need to do that on. It's against the Pistols, but they truly want to continue to play assertive. That's the way to go about it on CT Anubis. Great round from JT again. Basically getting a kill round almost. Maybe even more, I think, overall. Toward that roll he's in. They lock those pistols into that little gap outside B main. Here it is. The nade comes through to do even extra damage, and Elige will eat them up.
I'm liking this. I'm enjoying this so far. Complexity. These rounds are quick as well. I mean, they're so happy to fight in the early rounds, which is great to see. They're not allowing Imperial to play their game just yet. Both spotted. Tries got information on two. One in towards dark. One front E-box. I think they know that they can't really stick around too long. Try a lot of damage. Phelps, awesome as well. We'll get tagged up just a little bit. Molotov going to force try out, but he is given the luxury of escaping. No way. Floppy for two. He gets active, proactive outside of A main. And well, now, what's the play here? Vinny, he was lurking and Grim will catch him just the edge of that smoke. Elige is baffled as one comes his way, and then he gets flanked by Phelps. What is happening here?
Flank on flank on flank. It's non-stop. Phelps 1 versus 2. Both players are in position. Bomb needs to be recovered, needs a pre-aim, and it's not going to happen. Grim has had an absolute monstrous half. 17 and 4, Neo. Incredible CT side from him.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Single-handedly at times, putting this team on his back. They needed a hero, like we said, and of course, this is now a stellar start coming forward for Complexity. They've got foundations to work with. The one thing they didn't have on Vertigo, they've got confidence, momentum rolling with this team, and you know, it was without a doubt scrappy and weird and uncomfortable to watch, but it was a fun one nonetheless. But we have to look at this seriously now and say for Imperial, they're on the brink. This has not been a good first half from them, and they've got to come in towards this CT side and somehow try and turn the tides. And it doesn't feel like they've got those individuals consistently activated. Essentially at this moment, sure, same with Phelps, but the rest of the team lagging a bit behind. We'll see if they can turn it around in towards the second half, but for now, we'll go to a break.
Imperial on the brink of being eliminated from their home event. They didn't even think they were going to play here as a last-minute replacement, of course, for Rare Atom, and they fought brilliantly well against Complexity, especially on Vertigo, a map where we thought they'd have no chance, but now they're 9-3 behind as Complexity go onto the favoured side of Anubis.
Yeah, they've had a really good first half. You know, they picked to go in towards CT side, and even then, maybe we slightly questioned it, what we said. They want to build the foundations and then go on to, like you mentioned, the stronger side, and I mean, so far, so good. If they get a pistol round here, Trav, we actually could be already starting to ramp up for the beginning of the end.
Try's got the new dualies, the Hydro Strike. What can he put forth here? Great flash. Oh my word, that was 2 bullets and he's got 2 kills. It could be more. He has munched them all up. Quad kill, could be on for the ace, but it's going to be stolen by Felt. Who cares? It's a clean-ass pistol.
That is brilliant. Perfect. You know, that is absolutely a read. There's no two ways about it. They knew exactly what Complexity default to, and Try, his timing, his innate timing was perfect because he didn't have any information there off that peak. It was a flash and a swing, and it was absolutely brilliant. As you mentioned, 2 bullets, 2 kills, and then a couple more come behind it. Lovely work. 9-4. So Imperial far from dead just yet. Do not count them out. They might find a way back into this. You can't sleep on Imperial side, you know, especially when if they do find a bit of form, they can be very scary to stop.
That is one of those classic pistols. There's a bit of an eco here on the Elise Deagle, which has now been removed, picked up by JT. So I'll just quickly talk, like, the dualies are cruel, right? Sometimes you can just shoot 20 bullets and get like 50 damage on 2 players, and sometimes you can click 1 bullet with 1 dualie, 1 bullet with a second dualie, which is exactly what happened with Try there, and get 2 kills. And obviously he had a really rough game overall, so that is great confidence for him to at least work with in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Lee's down, like you mentioned. Deagle scooped up by JT. He's had a better map, it has to be said as well. You know, he's had a really poor second map, but he's looked pretty good so far. 11-4. It is grim, though, for me. He's been lights out, at least not too far behind either. Good timing on that smoke, and an 8 behind it could be pretty chunky. Is to break open the smoke, and 2 back to JT. Nice 180.
JT's first bullet accuracy on this map has been absolutely nutty. I mean, I'm going to quickly check his headshot percentage because like, I feel like so many of them have been so clean. Even that was a quite ridiculous spin, to be honest, on that particular angle.
Yeah.
JT has 11 kills. He's got, okay, only 6 headshots, but that's another one to the tally. So pretty impressive. That'll be 7, I think.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Little clean up there at the end with the M4. Lovely stuff from a Try. So that was a throwaway round. We don't expect really all too much with that level of investment coming through. A consolation kill is all we're really talking about. But this next round is the important one. Complexity into the buy. AK's out. U-Tool to work with. JT going to pick up the Galil as well to have that more fleshed out belt to the U-Tool. All the trimmings to work with. And we have to see whether Imperial have their woes against the gun rounds. That was the issue. It wasn't anything to do with the pistols. It was gun rounds where they struggled. Only 8 damage well on towards Try isn't exactly what they want to start with.
Mid will stay in Imperial's control. Of course, the T side can take mid. You can choose to go either side through Temple to B, through Camera to A. So important to keep Complexity away from that. Grim has been incredible, and incidentally, while I was looking at those headshots, I think he has 12 out of his 17 kills. He's been unbelievable. But now on the T side, he's going to have to hit more of those. A little bit of mid-presence being shown. Re-smoking toward main, and Grim will cross over to the left side. JT finds Felt, so that's huge. He's now got full E-box control. And he's going to have support from Desenchi in a moment, being a good nade on toward Grim. How do they pinch this together? Shoulder spotted. Grim will now creep his way through. That smoke could help him, but Desenchi will at least find it. JT dinked as well. So they may have the site, may have an advantage, but Imperial can battle back here.
Yeah, they don't have to commit. JT is just sort of a bait and switch, because look, they're already starting to move in route in towards A, but it's a timing play as well. Elige, he's going to be tested in a second as well. He doubles away. Try will probably be the first line of defense, and now Elige just spotted out his gun barrel, so Try sort of has to tuck his head away and wait for support to come through, which is The case, in fact, is Try looking to go. Elige needs to be careful. No way. And Try both above him. This is a scrappy one as well. Left down to one. Floppy's got to go huge. 1, 2, surely not the third. Floppy lays down the law. That is brilliant. I'm sure he didn't expect them all to line up like that, but he will take them and mow them down. That was beautiful.
That's what we need from Floppy. He's looked sleepy all day, bless him. He's been lying back in his chair every single opportunity he takes. Half-time breaks, tech breaks, but he was absolutely awake for that one. And absolutely critical for Complexity to win that opening gun round as it was. And that was so clean the way he started that off as well.
All right. 10-5. This is feeling like it's getting towards the beginning of the end. One spotted Elige. Another great start for him. He looks for a second as well. He'll get it. Elige, he is unstoppable at the moment.
Oh, he's even managed to win the duel on No Way as well. Triple kill. Equals himself up on 17 with Grim. And that's, as I said earlier, when Complexity are at their most scary. When it's those two playing so well together, when Floppy can be clutching. Sure, you know, I can preface this by saying, in the nicest way possible, it is only Imperial, a last-minute stand-in for this event. But this is the sort of game for Complexity. Sure, they'll be very upset that they lost Vertigo, but it's a confidence builder and a builder into the event. So you need these sort of builders into events when, of course, you start with a best of 1 and a best of 3, where you could maybe just get eliminated on day 1. 11-5 it is.
Yeah, we're getting close now as well. It's not the smiles just yet for Complexity. It's still locked in and there's a job to be done. And they did struggle to close out that first map as well. Well, I might feel like an age ago now.
Yeah, true.
They did have many a chance to close out in regulation, and it had to be required with an overtime victory. They just don't want to get to that point. But I mean, again, look at the buy for Imperial. It is a full eco, not even an upgraded pistol. That is something they cannot afford. And a quicker play towards B might actually just work in their favor. No way. Zeus in towards mid, and the one time Complexity have no mid presence. They pop in towards B, and yeah, now Floppy, he can probably even clean up a little bit here as well. Good for one. Anyone drops down in towards water, they're probably a dead man on arrival. Oh, the spam isn't bad either.
I've died to that before, and I was very annoyed.
I've got a no-scope on that before. Didn't mean to do it. I'll take it. This one's done, though, of course. It was never going to really have anything behind it, for being honest. But 2 left, Try and Phelps. And, you know, they were hoping for maybe an upgrade or so. Phelps might get the drop. No, Grim. Good due diligence from him. Does his clearance. Make sure that there's nobody lurking away. Yeah, like you said, you know, Grim, what a map from him. 19-7 right now. Elige not too far behind on 18. But it's just Grim. His lack of death is probably the most emphatic thing. He just cannot seem to fall at the moment. hallzerk trying to see him off. Try is not looking to die. Not for no reason as well. Potentially, Trav, this could be the final round of this series. It has felt like a bit of a marathon as well. But what a game we've had. Complexity, they've had to keep.
Yeah, absolutely. And well-deserved for getting it over the line. It would have been a long day for them, of course. They were on one of the earlier games and playing one of the late games, obviously. Long day. It's 1 AM for us right now as well.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty early for production too. Long day. Props to everyone behind the scenes. Oh my word, the damage.
Oh, yeah.
Try down to 9, Phelps down to 48 already on the all-important gun round to keep your spot in IEM Rio. That is how it starts. Painful.
It's true. Floppy. They don't need to do anything at the moment as well. They know they've done some early damage. At least one of the bits of damage is confirmed. Hot flash in here could be huge. Elige actually going to just double away from doors in mid. Speaking of double, we're stacked here. Floppy gets one. Looks for a second as well. Yeah, tries low. I don't think we want to be sticking around there, my friend. And he realizes he has to get out. Phelps will fall, tapping away hallzerk. Bit of a slower map by his standards. And so far this series, being the lights out performer. Bot bomb on his back. We don't need to die for no reason. Elige comes alive again as he ties up Grim on 19.
It's the beginning of the end.
It is, yeah.
Maybe it was the beginning of the end at the beginning of the second half, to be honest. Only the pistol, that incredible Dooley's play from Try and the conversion to speak about. hallzerk with the bomb on his back, working his way up toward E-Box with teammate support. Vinny is forced to go checking toward mid for information, but he'll be a second too late to even drop into water and get a kill here, I think. Bomb is down. Grim's got outside B main. Everyone's got every single eventuality covered. And Grim will find his 20th kill. Only 7 deaths, like you mentioned as well. He's an absolute monstrous performance. And it's Try with 9 HP to save Imperial. And I'm afraid, for the Brazilian sakes, this ain't gonna happen. Complexity will stay alive. Imperial, fair play to them. They get a very unlikely Vertigo, of course, in a tournament they didn't even expect to be here. But they're gone, and Complexity, they're still here.
Yeah, not dead just yet, Complexity. Had to dig deep a little bit as well in towards that series. I'm sure that Vertigo was a little bit of a shock to the